should be live right now. Let me make sure. Yeah, we're live.
Let's go.
Let's
go.
Let me make sure. I really wish I could be able to sub to my own channel just so I can see it on my feed. No more. Yeah, we're live. Hehe. Whew. Let me test the audio. I'm gonna go to the audio and see if I can hear you all talking.
Let's go.
Go
I can
ahead.
hear it.
Yeah, we're live.
Yo, what's up, guys?
Let's go.
Let me make sure.
What's up,
Yeah,
guys?
I heard a night. Enough.
What's up?
It is a black screen, though.
Yes, Spice greatness.
What's up, everyone? This is episode 8 of Game Slayer. We are a few people short with this one, but we're gonna make the best out of it. Introducing first, Mr. Japanese. Akira, go ahead.
The fuck? Yeah, it's Akira. I'm playing Tales of Arise right now. I would wish I would play Lost Star right now, but yeah, I'm playing Tales of Arise right now. And game of the year, bro. Like game of the year. I'm not even past halfway, and I'm just having so much fun.
What? Oh, over Lost Judgment?
No, not over Lost Judgment. No. This one goes second in line, though. Second in line. Nothing beats Lost Judgment for me, but no. This one is, for example, if Lost Judgment and Tales of Arise would go for a game of the year versus, whoever wins, I would be fine with. But Lost Judgment is always first choice. And yeah, PlayStation 5 is greatness, like I said. Let's do this. Let's do it. Facts. Facts right there, bro.
Okay. Yeah, screw you for showing so many pictures of what's called Tales of Arise. Now I want the game and I can't have it right now.
But by the way, I just want to say, watch Arcane if you got a choice. I mean, if you got the chance, watch Arcane. 10 out of 10 show, better. Even without playing League of Legends, it's a great show that stands on its own.
What's that?
Just saying. Arcane.
What's that?
It's a show that's on Netflix right now. And I borrowed my my brother-in-law's Netflix account just to watch this one show because it's that good. It's really that good, I promise. Arcane.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it.
It's so good. I'm not even kidding. It's just really good. Yeah.
Fine. Next up is Blue.
Chef, this is Blue Horizon, aka the Weep Sheriff. What's good? And I'm playing, actually playing Ghost of Tsushima right now, the Iki Island expansion, which I bought some time ago, but didn't get around playing. I finished Guardians of the Galaxy, so I wasn't really sure what to play after that, but I figured let's clear my backlog. Guardians of the Galaxy, by the way, great. So if you're hesitant to buy it, I believe it's now on sale, the Black Friday sale. So get on it because it's totally worth it. And yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is great as I remember it. I really like the expansion to the story. And other than that, I'm also playing, of course, the Goty of the year, Space Otter Charlie. Hashtag automation.
That's it.
Which setting, which difficulty are you playing Gold on?
I think I'm just playing in a normal difficulty.
Normal?
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta give the hardest one a try, especially with the DLC.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind.
I didn't finish the DLC because other games came through, but I'm definitely gonna finish it and put 10,000 more hours in the multiplayer. But I truly like the DLC, especially how it adds not personality, but more like information to Jinsekai.
Yeah, I like that part too. It gives a bit of closure to the flashback you see in the main game.
Yep.
But yeah, you haven't finished it yet, so I won't spoil it.
But other than that, I truly wish they added more enemy variety. One or two new person enemy is not enough to call the DLC. Also, the skills are weak as hell. Like no one asked for a horse move. Not important. Okay, never mind. You're not
Oh
far
no,
enough.
no, I finished the main story, so
Oh, you finished it?
Yeah, I still have to wrap up some of the
Okay,
collectibles.
so then you know that they don't give you a lot of new skills. Literally,
No, it's just a horse charge.
Yeah, no one asked for that. When you're doing 99% of the fighting, we want fighting skills. No one asked for a horse skill. No one. Literally nobody.
We'll get some more with the sequel. It'll be alright.
Sorry, which game are you talking about?
It's disappointing.
Which game?
Ghost of Tsushima.
What? You're disappointed with Ghost?
The DLC.
You wanted more
DLC.
Not the main game.
Okay, we're talking about the DLC.
Oh, the DLC. Oh, nah, I cannot talk about that yet because, I'm about to try it after Tales of Arise. I need to clear backlog for that.
I can't because I played the DLC.
I heard a lot of good things about it.
No, I
heard a lot of
Ghost I finished and I played. It's the DLC that I'm disappointed with.
That's actually funny. Sorry, that's actually fun because I've been seeing that. People didn't enjoy the DLC, enjoyed the main game, but people didn't enjoy the main game, enjoyed the DLC. It's really weird. I've been seeing that a lot.
Here, it's very simple. The main game has skills. DLC doesn't. DLC feels bare bone.
You have the same skills as the main game.
But here's the thing. When you're playing a DLC, you want to do something new. You don't want to do the same thing over again. Like, we already did that for 150 hours.
I appreciate it for the backstory of his dad.
I appreciate it for that as well. But when you say we're gonna have new skills, I guess it's on my end. I was wrong for assuming that it's gonna be fighting skills. Hey, sue me for thinking logically.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's all good.
They had me at the ability to pet cats and monkeys.
That was the big thing for me.
Nate, go ahead and introduce yourself.
So yeah, before I do that, you can't see the overlay on the YouTube channel, right?
Sorry?
You cannot see the overlay on the YouTube channel. It's just black. You can hear us talking, but it's just black.
Oh, give me a second then. Sorry about that. It should be visible now.
Yeah, we'll have to give it a second because of the delay.
Hey,
now it should be.
Do not watch the Cowboy Bebop show's trash.
Oh right? Yeah, we're gonna actually talk about it. It's
trash, bro.
It's not really related, but it's important related. We're gonna
save your time. Don't waste it on that trash. Yeah, I cannot get back my 2 hours. Cannot get that shit back anymore. So yeah.
Yeah, I just decided to rewatch the,
you poor
the
man.
original anime.
Yeah, I know, bro. Bright side is I've seen the legend again, Mark Cerny, saying that the next generation is ray trace games. The next era of gaming is what he said, right? Mark Cerny. He said something like there are 3 eras of gaming, which is 2D games, and then 3D games, and then ray trace games. 3 eras.
I want to see it. Let's see it pop.
Alright.
If you have information about it, we can cover it, because I was out of the loop today.
I watched that, there's this video where Mark Cerny was talking about the PlayStation 5.
I didn't. I was out of the loop.
Guys,
I'm sorry.
Shall we wrap up the introductions first before we talk about topics?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
But
good one. Innate, go ahead.
Yeah, Innate or the real Innate on Twitter and Xbox. Right now I'm playing Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. It's been a lot of fun so far. I mean, why not? It's one of the ones I had a lot of fun with back in the day. It's interesting to see it get updated as much as it has. I'm also playing through Judgment as well. I ordered the PS5 version, but I'll probably just finish it on PS4, and I'll go through a PS5 playthrough at some point. And then still working through 13 Sentinels, and yeah, probably like 5 other games. Like I'm on a buffet right now. Like I'm just I'm just on it. So whatever I feel like going at right now, that's just what I'm going for. So yeah, that's what I'm playing right now, and it's just lots of fire on my plate right now. Plenty to play.
Morgan.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's Morgan, aka Chill Bandit. I am playing the exact same games that I have been playing because my schedule, Lord Jesus. But so I'm playing Guardians, almost done with that. I think I'm on the last chapter. So I'm finishing that up. Great game, loving it. Still have to finish Death Stranding. That's its own journey, and it's gonna be multiple hours on that game. What else am I playing right now? Excited to try out Borderlands 3 with you guys whenever
we're definitely gonna play that after the show.
How many players are allowed Borderlands 3?
4.
I actually own Borderlands 3.
Okay, so then after the show, jump with
because
us. Me and Nate and Morgan and you.
I bought that game because my daughter asked me for it and wanted to play with me, and yeah, we basically played the story mode of that game together. That's why I own it, basically.
Nice.
It's a co-op, yeah. But yeah, my daughter loved that game. My daughter loved Borderlands 3. If they would put Borderlands on the Switch, she would buy it on the Switch as well. The one that we gave her.
That'd probably be a good Switch
We can play it together then.
Yeah, bro. Like, I need other games for her to play because she's also getting into the Fortnite hype. So, what are you gonna do? I mean, dude, she has a Switch, right? And she loves shooting stuff. So, Fortnite kind of gives her that, right?
There you
go.
Yeah. Tune in. I'm actually gonna stream it. What's it called? The Borderlands gameplay after the show. We're gonna play with Morgan and Innate.
I'm just gonna post, my horrible skills for the world to see.
Well, it's also my horrible skills as well, so don't worry about it.
This man trying to embarrass me. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so before we continue, I actually wanted to comment on Innate. When I woke up and this dude was playing Judgment, I'm like, okay, fine. Where is, what's called, 13 Sentinel? He gave me a way to blackmail him with that, but then I find out now that He is not even playing Judgment anymore. He's playing Pokemon. And Nate,
Oh yeah, the man went to
you
the
actually
midnight launch of it because it.
locked in because you mentioned that 13 Sentinel. Otherwise, I would have double blackmailed you. But yeah, shout out to you for still playing that game, and I really hope more people play it, cause 13 Sentinel is amazing.
Agreed.
That's great. Yeah.
As for me, I'm about to throw up a little bit in my mouth for what I'm about to say, but I downloaded Deathloop.
I really I really think
Hey sir,
Atlas.
that's the game of the year title.
I really think Atlas should release 13 Sentinels to the Switch. I think it'll do better, to be honest. Yeah, I really believe that game deserves more.
They don't deserve it.
Yeah, it deserves more.
I think the game needed a demo. And
No, I think the game needs marketing because that game was not marketed at all. Like it was zero marketing for that game. Yeah, zero marketing for that game. I think like you saw like 2 trailers or 3, and that's it. That's it. It's done. No more. Very minimal marketing for that game. Really crazy. Because that game is a gem.
It's definitely
gem.
a gem, and
Yeah.
I'm disappointed to see that.
Everything Vanillaware makes is a gem. But forget the Switch. Forget the Switch port. I want to have more Master Demon Blades on PS4.
Yeah, why not? No, it's all good. I mean, you know, I don't know. Like some games just gets more successful with Nintendo, sadly, because it's kind of like the on-the-go shit. And Nintendo is Nintendo. Yeah.
Yeah.
For someone like me who likes progress, I really am not, 100% agreeing with Nintendo's ways. I mean, I like some of their games, but there is just they are holding back progress, and I really hate it. To be honest, I really hate that. But yeah.
Talking about progress, let's talk about Goty Awards, shall we?
Yeah, Game of the Year. You bought a Game of the Year nominated title, man. You bought Deathloop.
Exactly.
Like, why would you do this?
The only reason
Oh.
I am going to play it is because I am game sharing with a friend that already owned the game. Otherwise, I would have never bought it myself.
I game shared Deathloop with someone because I was not sure, and no, it's not for me. It's not for me at all.
I love the year.
If we're doing confession time, I bought Psychonauts 2 on sale.
Hey,
I am still not gonna support Psychonauts. I refuse to do so after they did the PlayStation fans so dirty.
Did they put like a PS5
the
update or something out?
No, there's no PS5 update yet. No. The problem with me with Deathloop is just feels inferior to Dishonored. I don't know. There's something about it. It feels inferior to Dishonored, and I don't know how to put my finger on it, but it just really feels a bit inferior to Dishonored, which is why I didn't buy it. I game shared with someone to try it out, but I didn't buy it. No.
Seems a little more childish.
By the way, game sharing is very effective. It's kind of like a demo,
Yeah.
Like if you have someone who's just willing to do it with you, it's basically your demo to decide if you want to buy the game or not. So more people should do that. More people should try game sharing. It's really basically a demo.
The problem with game share is you actually need to share your own password and information. That's the biggest issue.
Wait. Not password? No, not exactly, right? I mean, from my experience, no. I mean, I'm talking about.
Need to
oh wait, I'm not talking about game sharing. I'm talking about SharePlay then.
Yeah, you're talking about SharePlay.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Sorry, that's what I meant. SharePlay basically, I get to control his controller while he's playing the game, but I could try out the game and it works like magic. It really works like magic. It's like my demo, and that's what I did with Deathloop.
Yeah, no, then you're talking about something.
Yeah, sorry,
totally
share play,
different.
not game sharing. Yeah, I'm saying that more people should share play. It's basically your demo. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry. That's what I was trying to say. I'm not giving password to anybody, man. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that. You know.
Okay, Deathloop. You have
No, game of the year. All right. Sorry. Yeah, Deathloop, Psychonauts, It Takes Two, Ratchet and Clank. Wait.
Metroid Dread.
What were the rest? Shit,
Metroid Dread. Metroid.
Oh, Metroid Dread. Yeah, right. Metroid Dread. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought it. I voted It Takes Two. I think it's the most deserving one. I'm sorry, I just really said it. I think it's the most deserving one to win.
How dare you? No, I'm kidding.
For me, Metroid Dread. I love that game, Metroid Dread.
I mean, Metroid Dread is great and all. No, go ahead. Sorry. So, go ahead.
1v1, one at a time. Akira, go ahead.
No. I love Metroid Dread as well. It's a great game. I only said the reason why I said It Takes Two is, yeah, first of all, it's really fun. It's some creative ideas, really, and it's basically aside from Deathloop, it's a new IP, right? It's the only new IP there alongside Deathloop, and it's well done. And I think Haze Light has been doing great co-op games, and I think they deserve that recognition for a while now. Metroid Dread is Metroid Dread is a big brand. Which, again, if it wins, I'm happy for it. It's a great game. But yeah, I voted It Takes Two because I think it just deserves the recognition. But that's
I wouldn't mind if it won though. But for me, Metroid Dread, of those games that are nominated, that's my Goty because I loved it so much, and it doesn't matter if it's an existing IP. I mean, if it's a great game, it's a great game, and that's
it's a great game.
Added to it because we've waited so long, and to actually finally get a traditional Metroid game, and it basically wrapping up the story that was set up decades ago. I mean, if you're a fan. There is nothing better than having to experience that. So, but
I would like. It would be great if it wins because I'm also in the Metroid Dread. I'll totally be happy if it wins. Absolutely. What was that?
But yeah, I guess are we, Omar, we're going to talk about the nominees. We're going to talk about which games we actually want to be nominated.
We're going to talk about nominees. We're going to talk about the snubs. We're going to talk about our own opinion, which one it doesn't deserve to be there as well.
I just want to ask, who is Riot again? Riot Studio, who's that again?
Huh?
Are you familiar? Riot Studio? Oh, wait, shit. Oh, they're making a League of Legends fighting game. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm watching this post from Jeff Keighley. They're making a League of Legends fighting game.
Baka. Focus on what's here and now.
Sorry. Sorry, man. Sorry.
Look yourself right.
That was a sidetrack. Go ahead. Sorry. Keep talking about Game of the Year.
Akira Baka. I have to say thrice. So Akira. Okay. So Akira. So far, you have chosen It Takes Two, eh?
Yeah, It Takes Two, and again, JRPG is also hard. Fucking Shin Megami Tensei 5, man.
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that.
But no, Game of the Year is I voted It Takes Two.
Yeah. Blue.
Yeah, of the games nominated, Metroid Dread.
Okay. An 8.
I voted Ratchet and Clank.
Adam. Morgan.
Same. I voted Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're gonna talk about the snub. Akira, what's the snub? Biggest snub for you?
Well, if it's my personal game of the year, of course, it's Lost Judgment. But that's not really RGG is really never globally recognized, so that's sad. But we're talking about a real snub.
Oh wait! We forgot to add another one that do you see how forgettable it is? Resident Evil 8 was actually
Oh
automatically
shit!
Oh shit!
nominated.
I didn't really care.
Shit. I'm sorry. Like the only Resident Evil I cared about is Resident Evil 4 and 2, and and 4 remake basically, and VR. You know what? They could nominate the VR one. I would take that. That was a great game. The Resident
Um,
Evil 4 VR. Yeah.
so what's your take, what called Akira? Who got snubbed?
Okay. So yeah, snub for me is so again. I share play Returnal with someone, and yes, I think it deserves a nomination for Game of the Year because that from the 1 hour I played of it, I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna play it after Tales of Arise and
Oh yeah, you're gonna love
Iki
it, Channel.
Island, Iki Island, and then Returnal. That game is just wow. So I don't understand why it's not nominated. I think Returnal got snubbed big time. But yeah, apart from that, uh, again, personal game of the year for me is Lost Judgment. But again, RGG does not really get that recognition. So snub is Returnal, and that's the only one I'm gonna say. It's the only one.
Interesting. You, so if you had to choose between Last Judgment, Tales of Arise, or
It's Lost Judgment.
Shin Megami Tensei 5, you
It's
still
Lost
would go
Judgment.
with Last Judgment. Okay.
Of course. Yeah. Personal game of the
Okay.
year.
Blue.
I second that. Lost Judgment got snubbed hard. And I'm still a bit torn between Metro Dread and Lost Judgment, but yeah, I mean, it should have been nominated, and I would have been fine if it won. And yeah, another game is overlooked is Near Replicant, but I guess people
Oh
will use the
yeah.
excuse it's a remake. But
Sorry, master or remake. Yeah. They
No,
they do use that
it's
excuse
still,
already.
it's still
yeah,
other new stuff, so it should be up there if you decide
yeah,
to.
it
Dude.
has a completely new ending, so yeah.
Yeah.
But
True.
yeah, and no, they changed so much. I mean, the combat, you basically never in the West never got this version. You know, we got the dad version.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. It should have been nominated. I don't give a fuck if it's a remake. I mean, a good game is a good game.
I remember being convoluted as fuck, why are there so many versions of it? Why is the Xbox different versions on PlayStation? Why is the European different versions on the what's it called Asian version? Like I was so, and I was one of the people that actually played Nier.
Daddy Near and Brother
Yeah.
Near.
Because
Again,
apparently in the West we
yeah,
like old men.
yeah.
So
Apparently,
Akira.
the reasoning with Daddy Near is that the team had the impression that the West likes buff, matured men as heroes.
How stupid
And then
is
they
that?
cannot have that as a brother. Really, that's why they made him a father instead.
How stupid
And
is
yeah,
that?
yeah. No, I think it
Yeah,
was based on
we all
if you
have
look at
daddies
you look at Western games. If you look at Western games, like a lot of them do have mature men as protagonists, like matured men is kind of true, right? A lot of them
No,
do.
it's absolutely
Research teams
that's
need to do
so
better.
stupid, dude.
Yeah, no, I mean it can be stupid, but most Western games really have those, and I think that's where the impressions were based on.
Oh, I'm not saying that they didn't accurately do that, but the problem with a lot of stuff like that I see from like the Japanese take, because like even Yoshida said that when they did Aloy, he was like when they were originally like, I don't think this is gonna take, because Americans this and that, and I was like, look, man, like just give it to me and let us show you something. Like I hate when they do all this internal guessing.
Exactly.
And they're like, oh, well, we've never done that before. How is that going to fare? And it's like, make it good, like you always do, PlayStation internal studios, and we will support it, man. Like straight up.
I think one of the main problems as well is that Drakengard was released first before Nier, right? And
Yes.
I do remember that it was an ongoing criticism towards Japanese games that they always cast these young-looking characters. It was like a general criticism towards Japanese games, which still exists until today, by the way.
Of
Those
course.
criticisms still exist, and I really think, aside from the impression that Western games have a lot of these matured, buff protagonists, and again the criticism of they do a lot of young protagonists. I think that's what got
But
got to
But
the
it's not a
birth of
criticism
Nier, that in Nier. Yeah.
fans. It's probably journalists that say that, right?
No, I get that, but in JRPGs, there's kind of like a majority voice,
Yeah.
and
Well-
sadly, that's not the fans.
Well, to be fair, when you were saying, I was thinking, okay, but Metal Gear always had basically an older protagonist. Every fucking Yakuza game has an older protagonist. So
Oh, they had a young one though. I mean, Kiryu started young.
Zero,
No, I get it.
but-
Yeah,
but
prequel. Yeah.
he was
No, I get what you mean. Yeah.
no.
I think it was more based on JRPGs, the traditional ones, because Yakuza can also be seen as a beat 'em up. That's why it's not fully there. We're talking about JRPGs because if you're gonna count like every JRPGs in existence, right? Most of them really do have young characters. Like, I can't even really think of the last JRPG with an old man protagonist, aside from that in
You're not
Nier.
wrong.
Like, I'm trying to think
Okay.
off the top of my head, but I really cannot think of anybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's called? Innate. What's your snap of the year?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I mean, it is, but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to say Tales of Arise. That just the impression of the game from what I've played already has been absolutely amazing, and that goes back to what I was saying to someone at one point when I forgot what game I was arguing something with someone, where they were like, oh, that's what it was. When people kept saying, oh, you got to get this far in Deathloop before it gets good, and I was like, that's sounding a lot like when people were telling me to watch Black Mirror. And they're like, all right, so what you got to do is watch episode 3, then you got to watch episode 8, then you just go straight to season 2, watch episode 5, and I was like, okay, so this doesn't sound good because you're just telling me to skip.
Is that
all the
like
time.
Which show
Yeah.
are you talking about?
Black
Black Mirror? It's
Oh.
also what they said about It's also what they said about Days Gone. Basically, Days Gone becomes good at this
Nah,
point of the
actually,
game.
Days Gone becomes good from the beginning. It just
But-
either
Yeah, I
love
like
it or
this
you
from the
don't.
beginning.
Yeah, no, a lot of people
Yeah, but-
say that.
And Nate, to be fair, Black Mirror is not like a serialized show. Basically, every episode stands on its own. So
Oh yeah,
it's
I
kind
know.
of fair. Yeah.
But it was just funny, like the way that people were saying that. But I was like, for me, games are not like. I was explaining to them because people were like, "Well, why do you feel like some people were saying early on, well, I don't like this and I don't like that," and they were like, "Well, yeah, well, it gets better later," and it's like, well, the character isn't going to control different later. Like if you think the controls are heavy and sluggish and unresponsive, that's not gonna change.
Mhm.
Like that's why I was saying, like, people were like, how do you feel like you would take points off? That's why I said, like, people go, well, if you only played 3 hours, how do you know it's not a 10 out of 10? And it's like, because I would already remove points for the controls.
Karaba, actually, this is a word of debate, maybe in one of my spaces next time, but I have been thinking about this because I played Tales of Arise, right? I've been playing Tales of Arise now, and I have been thinking about this real hard because I talked about the progress of JRPGs are slowing down because of Nintendo being kind of like the main moneymaker, right?
Mhm.
And I said something. I thought about something like, turn-based combat does not really need to completely disappear. However, they also need to progress in some kind of way, and I think this is something that not really a lot of Japanese developers have figured out yet. I think the only one that I can mention nowadays is the Suikoden developers. You know, Ayuden Chronicles. That shit looks like next level turn-based combat right there, like real traditional turn-based combat, but in a more progressive way. You know, something I've never seen before, kind of thing. And I think if they wanna push turn-based more, I really think it also needs progress in itself, like how action JRPGs have been doing it.
I would actually disagree with that, because I think
Disagree.
we don't need to keep reinventing turn-based combat, because that's kind of what's frustrating me when every time there's a turn-based RPG, they've changed it again, and they made it very convoluted, and yet you have to stand on your head to do a magic attack and shit like that. Just make it traditional turn-based. I mean, look at Dragon Quest, like Dragon Quest 11. That game was fine.
Yeah, Dragon Quest still the same. Yeah.
Very basic turn-based combat, but at no point did I feel bored by it or like, oh, this needs to change. It works.
No, I get that. No, I understand that. It does work. I think this is only also one of the main problems why turn-based is getting less and less. So I think the audience is kind of shrinking. I don't know how to put my finger on it, but I mean, Dragon Quest is a big brand, right? It's already a big brand, so I think it'll be a great test if, for example, Ayuden Chronicles gets released, and then let's see how much it fares as kind of like a new IP, as a turn-based combat game, if the audience is still there or not. I think that's kind of like the ultimate test, because the reason why a lot of JRPGs is going action route is because they just sell. Even the Tales series used to be turn-based combat, and they never really got this much popularity until Vesperia Berseria and now Arise is like the highest peak of their success and their popularity as well. Which is, and also of course it's global appeal to it. It's not fully Japanese appeal, but it's a global appeal. So there's still gonna be Japanese people who's gonna love this game, which this game is doing well in Japan. So yeah, I was really thinking hard about it, because again, Ayuden Chronicles looks like a game that's gonna be great, turn-based combat with some new spin to it, so that can maybe refresh the series, rejuvenate it. I think that's the word. I don't know. The growing amount of action JRPGs is kind of like a sign where the global appeal has been going to. And they're not necessarily bad games. They're great games too on their own. It's just that they're intentionally done that way, for the appeal itself. I don't know. That's what I feel about it. Like even Final Fantasy 16 went fully the action route now. Just wondering.
I'll say it quickly, just because I don't want to. Okay, I know Morgan's got to get her thing.
Yeah, the last one. You're the last one.
Hold on, real quick, Karaba. Hold on one second.
Go ahead.
So, I know what you're saying, but I don't think that is specifically why Tales got up there, because that's one of the things that I pay attention to really hard. And that's one of the things I spoke about. So a lot of its appeal has got to do with them finally stepping it up, production-wise. The game graphically has come way up, and that's a huge appeal to
9-day difference. Yeah, that's true. 9-day difference from the previous one.
Yeah, like we can, like, matter of fact, like Karaba is playing Ys, right? I never liked that series personally, but it's also a really good series, like combat-wise, I understand. But one of the weaker things about it has always been graphically. Like, it's always still had those like weird flat textures with like the JRPG textures that we would completely ignore because we play JRPGs. But like other people are like, why do JRPGs still look this way? So I was always a big proponent of everybody. I was like, why do a lot of these companies wait for Square to push it first when they could push it? Like, they need to step it up, and they can get the success of the Final Fantasies and stuff like that if they would push it. And that's also one of the things about Tales, honestly, that I think they did. They not only pushed it graphically, they got rid of a lot of the hesitation in the combat that used to be there. It wasn't there in Vesperia so much, but I know specifically I went back and played Vesperia, and Vesperia has like a weird like hesitation in its combat where people basically got around it by doing what they call like cancel action, which is I played a lot of games. I've been playing games for over 30 years, and it is incredibly hard to do the cancel action that people are talking about. It's actually not built into the game. People just found out you could do it, but it takes a ridiculous amount of reflexes and timing to do it. And it was like, you don't need any of that crazy weirdness or anything in Tails. It is in your face. It is, you know what I mean? It's super smooth. That high visual fidelity, production value, all that stuff is amazing. But I think where, like where Blue said, like I think there's a place for the Dragon Quest, but also Dragon Quest is also super simplistic in that regard, and it was slow even for me. But I understand that is the type of game that Dragon Quest is. But for me, where they can expand, and it's funny you mentioned the Ayuden Chronicles because Suikoden is one of the few games where they have always done really creative combat and turn-based combat with that series. So I've always liked how they've done it with you being able to do combination attacks and the rune system and stuff like that. So for me, the evolution of turn-based combat needs to still stay within the turn-based realm, but they can increase it by having the complexity or differences within it, like that, or Legend of Legaia, the way the system was within that, and even Xenogears with its death blow system and the way that combat evolved as you went along throughout the games, and the characters would even unlock different skill sets as different things would happen in the game. One thing in particular, one of the characters was so dangerous with a sword that later on he had to ask his wife if he was allowed to use the sword again. And the character's entire combat, including when he was in his mech, changed. So like you can definitely get complexity, and it doesn't have to be so slow or whatever and whatnot, and so what people feel is unengaging when it comes to turn-based combat, and you can definitely get it in other ways. So I definitely don't want them to speed it up in that regard. But I think there's just a space for many, and I think one of the really cool things going forward is that a lot of Japanese, because we always talk about this, but I think a lot of Japanese publishers, specifically Square and Level 5 and a lot of these guys, are realizing we, the people around the world, want their games from them. We don't want the American version of their games from them. Like the support for Octopath Traveler surprised them. The support for Fire Emblem surprised Nintendo. Like, we're showing as a whole, like, hey, look, we don't want this Japanese American version game. So I just think as long as they keep progressing that way and specifically work on increasing the production value as they go along, I think they'll benefit a lot. I think it's going to be great. I think we're going to do good. So, but yeah, that's all. That was my take on it.
By the way, we were still talking about Snubb.
Oh no, I know. We got sidetracked on the JRPG.
Yeah.
Talk. I know Morgan's up next. I see my girl over there.
I'm just giving you a hard time. No more. It's just fun game. Morgan,
yeah, Fox is in the chat, by the way. She says she says hi.
Who? Let me see who.
My girlfriend. She's in the chat.
Hi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sup, number. Sup.
Hey.
Hey. Okay. Morgan, what's the Snubb for you?
I think we can all come together and say and recognize that the biggest snub for Game of the Year 2021 was Forza Horizon 5. Okay, you all know that game is definitely not the same as Forza, 4 with just a different, you know, location. It's a completely different game. It's next gen in every way. It's like it overtakes any other game that Sony's ever made. Like I don't understand why we're sitting here talking about these other games like when it's clearly Forza that deserved to be among all these games. Okay, like come on, like what are we doing here? Like it didn't sell 10 million, but 10 million people are playing it. So like that's got to mean something, right? But anyway, Returnal definitely. But I'm not really surprised that Returnal didn't make it. Like when the Game of the Year discussion started, I always figured like even with the critical reception Returnal got, it's just not the type of game that is normally chosen for Game of the Year contention. So even though I had my fingers crossed for it, I wasn't really surprised that it didn't make the list. So, if it doesn't have a journalist easy mode to a game, it's not going to be it's not going to be a Game of the Year contender. Like I told people before, like a lot of these journalists couldn't get past Biome 1, so you can't really expect them to pick this as their Game of the Year. So, yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's for the got snubbed.
Yes, that's a real agree.
So I'm gonna actually talk about it with you, Nate, because maybe you have an explanation for it. How can Forza get be voted as what's called Sport of the Year, but not Game of the Year? Apparently, they missed that deadline, which that doesn't make
No, they didn't.
any sense.
No, they
They,
didn't.
they didn't miss
They
it.
didn't.
Yeah, that was
No.
like an early thought process that somebody put out, but they didn't miss it. They were just voted 6
Jeff
games
Grubb put
below.
that out.
One person at a time. Let Nate go and then you go blue. Go ahead, Nate.
Well, no, but yeah, like they said, it wasn't true. The clearly Xbox centric Jeff Grubb put out that lie, and everybody found out it was a lie because we found out the real date. And then like Jeff Keighley cleared that up even further by saying even if we removed every single game currently nominated, it still wouldn't make it because 6 games were voted ahead of it. So it would have been the 7th game below to get in. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. And if you compare 4 to 5, how are they any different?
One of the
Or
biggest
rather,
things
5 to 4.
one of the biggest things for me is the sound design. That is huge, and I know that that doesn't get talked about in a lot of games, like in where you get like a direct comparison. But a big gripe for me in racing games for years, they always use, and Gran Turismo is guilty of this too. They always use what it sounds like a vacuum cleaner to me. I hated it. I was like, why does every car sound like this very option 1 through 3 of variations of engine sounds, and they were terrible because if you go to YouTube and you Google like what do supercars sound like, there's literally a video that goes through a bunch of supercars and like Corvettes and stuff like that starting up, and they all sound vastly different. So that is huge. Shout out to them. That is a massive, massive difference in this game. And given that one of the things you listen to 100% of the time while driving in a game is the engine sounds, that is super, super big. So they did a really good job on that. Like when I start up, you start with one of 3 cars, and a lot of people chose the Corvette to start with. When you start that up, you get that standard, that V8 low grumble, that with the headphones on. So that's definitely a massive W over the other one. Graphics, I would say, are about the same, to tell you the truth. The car, I mean, it looks a little better, of course. I mean, you can see that, but the fact that some people can clearly post uh, certain screenshots from Forza Horizon 4 and confuse people tells you that there's not much growth there. You know, it does look better, but I just don't think they had that much room, personally, to grow in that regard. So, slight increase in graphics. Um, what the structure of the campaign, I feel, is a lot better, because that was one of the reasons why, if you'll notice, if you see a lot of people when they were talking about their progress in Forza Horizon 4, like achievements and stuff like that were always really low, and that's because the way the structure of the campaign was really weird. So I think they did a lot better job of that this year. The way it's clearly laid out, which events are like progression events versus what events are just like, hey, you want to race in this event? Hey, this is a timed event. So they did a much better job with the layout of the map. Um, but yeah, overall, I mean, outside of that, I mean, it's more Forza Horizon, in basically in Mexico. I mean, to tell you the truth, uh, the controls are better in regards to this. I would only know because I did this a lot in Forza Horizon 4, but drifting with a controller is a lot better than it was before. You almost needed a steering wheel to do it really well in Forza Horizon 4, but now the adjusted suspension and stuff like that. When you get down real nitty gritty into it with tweaks, um, you can control the car a lot better in a lot of different varying ways. So they improved there as well. But like, other than that, yeah, I mean, the game is still just a better, improved Forza Horizon 4 in Mexico. Yeah.
Gotcha. Um,
Oh,
is
also, if
it
anybody's wondering, I have 90 plus hours in the game.
is
So
it
yeah,
Goty
I know what's
material?
up.
Is it
What'd you say?
Goty material?
I don't think so. No. Not. I just, out of what has been available this year, uh, it wouldn't make it at all, even for me, in any sense of the word. Like, it's a great game, and sometimes great games are not. Uh, they're just not meant to be in the game of the year category. I think there's far better games that have better uh, have done much more as far as game design, and all the other categories that get judged, like character development, world building, all these things that Forza specifically lacks. Um, but yeah, I can't see it in the wake of all the great games that came out this year, uh, that it would get voted. And I completely understand where Jeff came from in his tweet when he said it got voted down by six other games, which is about what we said. You know, probably what Guardians of the Galaxy, Tales of Arise, Lost Judgment. I mean, we could all name six other games that we'd prefer to have put in that list, Returnal, so on and so forth. So, yeah, I don't think it comes above any of those games in that regard. It's just
Mm-hmm.
another great game, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not Game of the Year.
Okay. Um, me. Yeah, Bretano. Absolutely got snapped. And you can't tell me a game like what's called Hades get nominated for Game of the Year, but a game like Returnal that is, in my opinion, arguably way better than Hades can ever be. Way better. It outclassed it in every single aspect. I'm not talking about visuals. I'm talking about presentation, visuals, voice acting, storytelling.
I would say the story was better in Hades.
Um, The thing about Returnal, I love the story, but you need to look for it. To look for it. That's the one thing that I dislike.
So lore versus story then.
Sorry?
So lore versus story then, because when it's in the background, it's lore. When it's the
Yeah,
upfront story,
I
then it's
I
the
like the
story.
story, but
Yeah.
it's in the background. You really need to pay attention to everything you're doing. Like even the boss fights have story involvement in it. But I truly feel Return of Gusnab. Like I would replace Ratchet with Returnal. Cause
You trying to put some insult over here? Okay.
as much because I never played Psychonaut 2, I'm not gonna replace that. I never played what's called Resident Evil 8, so I can't comment on that. I never played Deathloop, so I can't comment on that. I absolutely would keep It Takes Two, cause that's doing something new, something different, and it should be celebrated. This is why when a game is doing something new, celebrate it. Returnal doing something new is taking an genre to a new height. Celebrate it. A game like Hades took the genre to new height. They celebrated it. But when Returnal does the same thing and excel better at it, they're not celebrating it. Which is freaking disgusting. Here's the thing. For me, I don't care about the Goty Award. It is what it is. But the only reason I care about it is because it puts eyes on the game itself and the developers themselves. So by that definition, it would bring more money to the developers, and that's what I want, so they can create better games. Like
Hey, I mean,
Return.
they're under
Most
PlayStation now. They
definitely
don't have to worry about that.
reflect.
Sorry?
I said they're under PlayStation now. They don't have to worry about
Yeah,
getting
but
money for games.
still, I highly recommend Returnal. You played it, you know.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, their next game's going to be even better now that they're under Sony and, they got everything they need as far as resources. I guarantee you the next one will be probably Game of the Year nomination. Maybe not
Hmm.
win, but get that nomination. Don't worry. They got plenty of time to get a Goty.
I love Returnal so much, and mind you, and I played it. I finished it twice on a freaking old ass TV sitting right there next to me that couldn't even do 60
Just playing
FPS.
in 30 FPS. That's a real one right there.
I'm proud on that one. That's a badge of honor I will never let go. That's one of the reasons I'm so disappointed I got a CX now, cause I can't brag anymore about me playing games on 30 FPS. I never once cared 30, 60. Give me the game, I'm playing it. End of story. Um, for me, it's disappointing, but I I don't see it winning gamer choice as much as I would love to.
You never know. Gamers might turn out.
Who knows? But I hope so.
Yeah, they won some other
We're gonna
awards.
actually, I wanna actually go with Blue and Akira, and anyone else can participate. Why doesn't Japanese game get a lot of love in a way? Like Love Judgment, Tales of Arise, Scarlet Nexus. Like these are all amazing games.
This is
So
the this is an undisputed no. This is a interesting debate that I've been seeing recently, which I'm inclined to agree that somehow in the game awards uh, Japanese games tend to get, I don't know, snubbed in general.
yeah, If you,
How do I say
unlike
this?
your
Yeah, go ahead.
big shot like a Final Fantasy, like to be fair,
Yeah.
a Final Fantasy VII remake stood no chance against Last of Us 2. Let's be real about it. Even a
Well,
game like Final Fantasy VII remake, it stood no chance against The
Yeah,
Last of Us 2.
sure, but I think it got nominated, right? Am I misremembering?
he got
I think it was,
nominated. Yeah.
yeah. So, but
Got nominated, but
those are the bigger Japanese IPs that are well known in the West, and I think the problem is because it generally you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it generally is American game journalism outlets that are voting on these game awards and voting on who's going to be nominated, and there you will have bias, and I don't mean a bias like they're purposely snubbing Japanese games,
no,
but
it's not corruption, it's
probably the
just
game.
bias.
No, the games that we enjoy, that we think should deserve at least a nomination. Those games probably aren't played by the majority of these game journalists. And yes, you do have to consider that it's not just a matter of game journalism should play all games because you have to review them. You have to consider that. Probably the I don't know exactly how they do it. Maybe they vote in the office, say, okay, we're gonna tally who wants to nominate what game for the game awards. But let's say if it's an individual, then that individual doesn't necessarily have to have played all these games because a big outlet can have specialized reviews for example, Forza for racing
Yeah.
games. So I think that's generally the problem. Is that, I mean, if let's say if the Game Awards was in Japan, it would be dominated by Japanese games because those are the games that would sell the most in the Japanese market. So I think it's just unfortunate of where it is based and who is voting on it that we see this outcome.
Yeah, I think that pretty much shores it up. In what you guys were saying. I mean, you can clearly see a lot of these publications have someone or several people in them that love Japanese games the way that we do. But the majority are like, if Mario comes out, like they're all gonna foam at the mouth immediately. Like, you know what I mean? Like certain games that come out that just push past everything else. The same way Metroid Dread slid right in there. You know, it's
Hey,
certain
never
games.
that slander.
Huh? Oh no! I'm saying though, like it's one of those games that can, push through that line that you guys were talking about. That hey, it's this Japanese game, and it doesn't come up on top like Guardians of the Galaxy, the way Guardians got mentioned all over the place. But at the same time, with things like global releases being way more pervasive now and stuff like that, I think gradually you're seeing an uptake in a lot of stuff because I can tell you for a fact I've seen tons of people all over my Twitter feed that have never played a JRPG either in their life or maybe played one, and almost all of them picked up Tales of Arise. It just we basically made it like they couldn't avoid it. Like it finally had all that noise that all the other games got. And like people were just like, I gotta experience this, and even Scarlet Nexus prior to the Game Pass announcement still had a lot of people pick it up. So I think as they go along and a lot of these people find the reality is a lot of these people are very limited in what they were playing, and that stems to journalism as well. Um, you're just now seeing a big uptake and a lot of people finally expanding um, their play. I know one person in particular that comes up a lot of times for us, and I know I'll say him because all of us know him, was Robbie Fox. He basically admitted but prior to this year he had only played like one JRPG in his whole life, and he's been playing games as long as me. So I've played basically everything he's played, and I've been playing tons of JRPGs. And like, this is a person who has just as many trophies, if not more than me, or whatever at this point, and has been at least playing games just about as long as I have. And yet he's missed all these games over the years, you know. So, and like, only just now has it finally pushed into his realm enough to be like, oh man, you know, he tried Scarlet Nexus and he beat it and he loved it, and then he couldn't stop hearing about Tales of Arise and he played it and it's his personal game of the year. Like like now we're finally pushing where people are who are have this aversion to it, and I think that is where I think now this part is I think where Kira's right, you know, turn based versus whatever, which these people just gonna have to learn because I love turn based and they gonna have to figure their life out. But but I think that is where the a lot of these people are okay with bridging the gap because you know they give the action based stuff gives them the uh the bridge between like a standard, you know, Devil May Cries and other stuff that have already pushed through that gap, through that line over history. And as those kind of fade away, you kind of got something like Scarlet Nexus, which was like a hybrid of like a spectacle fighter and an RPG like rolled into one. So like a lot of these people are like, oh, that's really cool. You know what I mean? So um, I think as they go along and we start to blend a lot of this stuff together, like we've seen, um, I think Japanese games will become more and more recognized. I just don't. I just think the biggest key thing is that, and this is what scares me sometimes. I just want Japanese developers to realize it's okay to still keep their identity in the space. We still want very Japanese games from these people because I know sometimes I hear it from a lot of the developers in the interviews. They're like, "Oh, you know, we want to try this Western thing," and I'm like, no, like, do what you want to do, like keep it you, and just up the level, and people will support it. Um, I think Tails and Scarlet Nexus and all these games are starting to show that. And like I said, with the increase in Octopath Traveler, Fire Emblem, more people played Fire Emblem when it released than have ever played the franchise in like the lifetime or something crazy like that when it released. Like Nintendo didn't even know what to do with it. So yeah, I think there's room for all of it. But like you said, I think the big factor is that a lot of these people are just going to play the big hits that come out. Like how many people on our timelines picked up Guardians of the Galaxy after a couple people that we all know were going crazy over it? Tons of people,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And but it also has other things going for it. Like Guardians is a globally highly well-known Marvel franchise at this point, who was also present in the Avengers and Endgame and all this other stuff. So you've got 50 different things going for it outside of the fact that it was a good game. So more and more people are going to be inclined to like go for that. But then also at the same time, you know, you also have a game that normally picks up like crazy, and a lot of people seem to think it's really good. But also, you honestly, I've seen more mixed reviews for it. But this is a really established franchise, which is Resident Evil, the Resident Evil 8 Village. Like, I know Wraith isn't here right now, but he's like super ecstatic about that game. Um, but like outside of him and like a few other people that I know played it, they still didn't really talk about it like that. So like as much hype and you know that Guardians got, like I think there's just a balance between um, word of mouth, uh, how big the game was. Like you said, like a game like The Last of Us. I'm still seeing people playing Last of Us 2 because they're just like
Mm-hmm.
they missed it. They had to play it. It was just too big. You know what I mean? Like God of War. Like anyone I know who even touches a PlayStation is like, I need to play that game. Spider Man, I need to play that game. And it's not particularly about it being American. It's just some of these games are so big that like they're almost unavoidable when you come into the space. And then on top of that, they have certain other games have things going for them, like Spider Man. Spider Man exceeds um, video games. He's everywhere. You know, I think at some point somebody said he was the the second or first. He might have even been the first most beloved like Marvel superhero or something of all time. So like, there's all these variations as to why something will get voted, and Blue was saying, a lot of times it's just a matter of what these people have played because they don't need to necessarily play everything. And whoever gets, I know at one point it was one or two representatives per publication or something, so they may reference someone um, to, like, hey, you played this one game, I didn't play Tales of Arise, so they may reference someone back at the office and be like, how high do you think I should vote it? This, that, and the third. Or they may not reference that person at all. So that's another reason why it may not get voted. I think another thing that would help this personally is if they would just show the voting, how it actually tallied up beyond what the nominees were. I think that would be even vastly more interesting, because you would get to see how close some things were to getting in. Because like he said, hey, when he finally revealed, because people kept bugging him about Forza, he goes, no, 6 other games got voted ahead of Forza. So I think that would help reveal it a lot better. And also, a lot of the publications, by the way, they're global, but like Blue said, even if they're global, there's still going to be a smaller amount of Japanese publications participating in the voting. But I think as we go along, and I think as long as Japanese developers keep giving us that good stuff, man, I think they're going to continue to break through to the mainstream more and more. People got a taste. Persona 5 was a really, really, really good example of that. That was another game where people could not escape it. It was everywhere. Everybody loved it. No one cared if it got Game of the Year. No one cared, bro. Like, people who played Call of Duty all year were playing a Japanese RPG for the first time, because Persona 5 was just that pervasive. It just broke through all these people's barriers, and they were just like, when people can't escape all this, the praise and all the genuine excitement that people are having for a game, like, people are like, damn, I gotta play that. So I think that is ultimately what you'll see going forward. But like I said, I mean, we don't know the future, so we don't know where they're going to go with everything. But I think we'll see more and more Japanese games get voted in the future, as long as we get some really good stuff from them, like we normally do.
I would not even say. Normally, I am a huge advocate for demo, and believe that if a game gets demo, then it's gonna do better. But Tales of Arise got a demo and still didn't get nominated.
What game?
Tales of Arise.
I mean, Tales of Arise is successful, considering its past earnings, basically.
Yeah, they they did.
This entry reached 1 million after a week, I believe.
Yeah, it took off. I think it was a week. It broke a million or something in a week.
By the way, a game that got snubbed also, I forgot to mention it. It's Crystal.
I didn't play Crystal, so I couldn't comment.
I cannot say. I have not tried it yet.
I finished it. I loved it. It's a unique take on JRPG. It's like, I'm starting to feel that if your game is weird or unique and it doesn't go mainstream, you stand no chance.
Oh yeah, I mean, Game of the Year is definitely a popularity contest in a lot of these places. Not all of them, but in a lot of them. Yeah, it's definitely a popularity contest.
I don't like that, because I always believe Game of the Year should be about what's the best game, what's the game that pushes the industry forward. Like a game like Deathloop for example, all I heard is how it's a reskin of what's called
Dishonored.
Dishonored, and not even a good reskin.
Yeah, a lot of people felt Dishonored was better.
Yeah,
I mean, personally, I
just
felt
heard
like
it
Dishonored was
from
better.
Akira.
And I
So,
haven't even finished Dishonored, so that's saying something.
yeah.
I've played Dishonored 1 and 2, about halfway on both, and I still think Dishonored was better.
So what's called so a game like It Takes Two, it deserves to be there. It's pushing the industry forward. We don't have a lot of these games, and it's not like it's just a game that exists. No, it's actually fun game. I still need to play it, mostly because gaming despair is not making time for that. I'm calling you out, despair. Other than that, I I love what Joseph. Okay, so I'm gonna pronounce his real name, not his English name. His real name is Yusuf Faris. Basically, he's actually a fellow Lebanese. So shout out to him.
So you're biased.
I
Yes.
am super biased toward as much as I would love the I'm biased, I actually love his game. Like A Way Out, I finished it with a friend of mine. Brother, I loved it. I highly recommend you guys go play Brother and A Way Out. So he got already a resume that is genuine. So a game like Psychonaut, Psychonaut 2, I can't comment on it, but I played Kena. Where the fuck is Kena? How is Psychonaut 2 on there but Kena not?
I think it's just a factor of limitation, because it's a hard cap on what can be up there. It's just it's just a reality. Like, eventually, like, imagine
Yeah, at some point
a class of geniuses, right? And everybody in the class all got A's. Well, only 5 people. Let's say only 5 people could be the. You can say, who's the top 5 people in the class? Well, it doesn't mean the rest of the class didn't get A's. Everybody in the class got A's, but only 5 people could be the top 5. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's basically all you run into eventually with the Game of the Year nominations from a lot of them. And like I said, I think a bigger factor would be the confusion that we're seeing from us would be alleviated if they would just share how the process worked. I think it would increase the popularity of the Game Awards if you got to see the process. I think it would be a lot cooler.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
Jeff Keighley keeps it secret because this is business and he has to work with these publishers, and putting them out there and telling them what they voted for will just lead to ecstatic fanboys berating them with threats and all kinds of, why did you vote for this game? Why did you do it? He has to work with these people, so he doesn't want to put them.
Don't show their name. Don't show their name. Show us
Yeah,
the game.
don't show who it is.
Exactly.
Just show the vote, like the discussion.
Yes.
You don't have to show them though.
No, even not that. Just show us the percentage. How many percentage a game got voted, so we at least know where
people will be like, that's fake.
Where the fuck?
Oh well, yeah, some of
like,
these people are
when
crazy.
he said,
made up to
so we at least see
and the number of votes.
So we at least see, okay, look, Forza got 10,000 votes, while Kena got 8,000 votes, or Kena had more votes than Forza, something like that. So we at least know and understand where the parameter is. A game like, for example, a few unique games, like, put them aside whether it's Japanese or not. Scarlet Nexus, I wanna see how far did it do, how good did it do, voting wise. A game like Returnal, where was it? Did it just did Ratchet had 1 vote more than Returnal, or 10,000 vote more than Returnal?
I think
Like
that would make it interesting.
if you wanna build a community, a show around the community, then be there for the community. Show us what the community is voting on. Show us what the what's called media are voting on. For fuck's sake, the game developers voted Returnal Game of the Year.
Oh yeah, yeah, they
And,
won the
and,
first developer award or something.
and this was a game developer award.
I honestly
You
argue that's more important because that's coming from peers, people who
Yeah,
truly
peers,
exactly
exactly.
understand
like you
what you are
can
capable of and what it takes to make the game that you made.
like you can't tell me when and this is like again I don't care about Goty myself, but I
Oh,
care
look at you, Carl.
about the people that put their heart and soul into it getting the
Look, I think
recognition that they deserve.
they're
That
they're
makes
definitely. Don't think that Returnal just because they didn't get nominated, they're not getting the recognition. Like they know because there's other awards out there besides Jeff Keighley's Game of the Year, and they've gotten a bunch of them. They know.
While I agree, all eyes are going to be on Jeff Keighley. You and I
Of
both know
course,
it.
of course, I know Jeff Keighley's has the more. He has the more pull. But
Hmm.
I fully believe on top of that, I think that Housemark they're more focused and happy that they got the recognition that they got from PlayStation. The fact that they got picked up is
Oh
enough
yeah,
recognition
yeah,
for them.
for sure,
Me,
for sure.
like I was like, shit, like I got picked up by PlayStation. Fuck the Game of
Yeah,
the Year award.
like here is how big for me Returnal is. Returnal is so big. After Returnal, I bought Next Machina and I bought Matterfall.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what the game does for you. If you truly love the game, you're gonna want to support the previous work. Um, before we continue, good morning, Kay. Go ahead, introduce
Hey,
yourself, what you're
I'm
playing,
here. Yay.
and also, what's your snub and what's your goatee? Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm driving through mountains, so I don't know if I'm gonna bot or not.
So
So
speak quick.
I just woke up, and Nate, Priscilla, and I had a
Oh,
crazy long, wild night.
can
I know.
oh, you are clear but not clear at the same time. You almost sound a little bit far away while loud at the same time.
Yeah, it's all
Well,
good. You might want to let her keep going because she's gonna cut out soon. So just go for it, Kay.
Go ahead.
yeah. So anyway, so after that wild night, I just woke up. I would say I feel like Returnal definitely deserved more votes to at least be a nominee, whatever the votes were, which I think that would be interesting to know, like how they decide to vote, how they decide to place their votes, and then see the number of votes each game got, because like that would be interesting to see if like Returnal was really close, to
Yeah,
being a nominee. But we don't know because they don't show you anything. They're just like, okay, here's the nominees, you know. Like it's,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like it's almost suspicious, but there's nothing we can do about it. Uh, for Game of the Year, when it comes, like they didn't do the Player's Choice nominees yet, right?
no, I think you can vote on any game you want for player choice. I think because I voted for for the whole thing, and I never once saw the player choice award. Yeah.
Yeah, because when that comes up, I'll vote Returnal
But the
for
problem
that
is
one.
with the Player Choice Award. It's not false proof. Like we know that because Last of Us was being voted Player Choice, and then out of the sudden it became Ghost of Tsushima because they hacked it.
Mm,
was a hack. I just think
They
more people.
literally hacked it. You can't tell me otherwise.
Why?
Last of Us was 80 for 20 or something like that. Like that's how big the gap was. And in one fell swoop, it went from 80 to 20.
Well, you have to remember the animosity that was going on for whatever reason between Ghost of Tsushima fans and Last of Us 2 fans. When it's weird when I'm a fan of like both. I don't understand why there was this rivalry going on. But like a lot of people
those were
Last
fans.
of Us 2 by voting for Ghost of Tsushima. You know, because people didn't like Last of Us 2, so they kind of berated everybody to go and vote for Ghost for Players of Choice, which I didn't mind. I was like, hey, both my favorite games won, so.
While I agree, but at the same time, when we were actually seeing it play out like a Ghost was at 20, then Last of Us 1 of 40 and stuff like that. But this one was a big jump, something that was not done before. So beforehand they were showing it percentage going in, going out, going in, going out. Every time a jump happened, it's a small jump and you see the difference. But you never seen, even when Last of Us was taking his lead, you never seen Last of Us being at 70 and 60 and all of a sudden it became 80. No, it was literally the percentage was showing. But with this one, it was literally 80-20 and all of a sudden 40-60 for Ghost of Tsushima. Like, no, absolutely
I
not.
just think, you know, there was a lot of hate for The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
I think people seeing the fact that it was leading pissed a lot of people off. So a whole bunch of people went and voted for Ghost out of spite.
Yeah, I know about that. I truly know. I've seen it. And the tweet that Druckmann put out didn't help their case either.
Yeah.
But if you're a fan of your voice, if you're a fan of your work, then you should celebrate it. Like, what? Of course you're gonna be proud. What? And it was such a shame that they turned it to battle between these two when they both they both deserve it in a way. But yeah, this is why I truly don't believe the game show is gonna do it justice. I don't think Returnal is gonna take it. While when I was in Playtest, and again, I follow Xbox PlayStation people, and I'm gonna talk about Forza in a bit. I almost everyone was saying Returnal got snubbed because we actually played the game, and also I would even argue Kana got snubbed. Where's Kana?
There's Lost Judgment.
Lost Judgment. Okay, so at what point do we say Japanese games are niche? It's no longer a genre, but aside from the outliers and the unique, the ones that do make the cut, like Resident Evil, where is Lost Judgment? Yeah, where is Tales of Arise? Like, if you have a demo, if you still go mainstream and still can't make it, then what are you supposed to do as a developer?
Well, I wouldn't say they didn't make it. They just didn't get voted in this one specific award because, like I said, tons of people have heard our voices in the community and people like Jay Bari and all the other people that we follow and bigger YouTubers and stuff that have sung the praises of these games and more, and they have spoken about the sales that these games. So I think they're still winning. They're just not, they may not get the awards in these votes, but I don't even care about these people. As long as these games are financially successful and being played by us, the gamers, like, they're going to continue to bring what we want ultimately. and they're ultimately going to get recognized because, I mean, for all the success and sales of something like Call of Duty, you know what I mean? Call of Duty sells a bazillion copies per year, regardless of how much it sucks now. But like at the same time, like I said, like you got to think back, look at the praise and how much something like Persona broke through when it came out. You know what I mean? So I think gradually, I think that effect is being felt year over year. It's just whether or not it gets recognized specifically by these awards. I don't really care. And I mean, because ultimately what we want is for these games to be successful so we get more of them. And I think more and more people who have never experienced them are going out of their way to do just that. Like I said, alone with the number of people I've seen pick up Tales that have literally, it's their first JRPG. I've heard a lot of people actually say that. Their very first one. And if that wasn't it, it was probably Scarlet Nexus. Like, that's huge to me. Like, and it's making these people more and more curious. And don't get me wrong, personally, the reason I mentioned Robbie, by the way, earlier is because I was about to hurt that man at one point. I was like, bro, we can't even be friends no more. I'm about to unfollow you. Because he was like, he said he skips the cutscenes in video games that he plays. But
yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, hold up, what? And I was like,
how does he know what the hell's going on?
That's what I said. I was like, hold up. But then I was like, well, when I looked back at the majority of the games he played, I was like, all right, well, they don't matter in most of the games he's playing. But then he started playing Scarlet Nexus. And then he played Tales. And all of a sudden he was like, damn, yo, the story and this and that. So I'm like, all right, so he clearly didn't skip, some of the stuff that was happening because you wouldn't know what was happening in a lot of these at all.
I had people skip a like Scarlet, but still skip cutscenes. It's like, is this your first time playing JRPG or something like that?
Yeah, so Scarlet Nexus was weird in that regard because there's cutscenes, like the full-on cutscene, and then there's like a bunch of Scarlet Nexus has a bunch of it has the hub area style, and you get like a bunch of character development in like the little conversations. So people were just blazing through that. So, which I heard it was pretty excessive, but I haven't played Scarlet Nexus more than like beyond the tutorial at this point. So,
you just started Tales of Arise, right?
Yeah, I started Tales though.
Yeah. Wait until you get to the skits.
I heard they get pretty long. I heard somebody say they were pretty long.
Yeah, but you can skip through them. It's not that, but they're fun.
I enjoy the skits actually. I look for them. I genuinely look for them on purpose because I like them. I like
these
seeing
little
them.
character monologues, right? The little back and forths.
I mean,
character moments. Yeah.
The skits is what build up the character for me. What makes them human for me. What makes them stand out for me.
I did miss initially. There's a very small button press at the bottom of the screen. So you have to press that.
You press R1.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hardly noticeable, but you can. I think you can always.
You can reminisce in the camping.
Exactly. So you can't. I don't think you can actually miss any.
You can't miss any because if you miss something, you can reminisce in the camping and you can view them. Just like I did. I just watched like 8 of them, back to back because I missed all 8 of them. So I watched them while camping.
No, I have to admit I do miss the traditional ones because here they're basically in-game character models, and the previous ones you had these character portraits talking to each other, and that had a certain charm to it that I'm kind of missing with the new style of skit.
Okay.
By the way, Omar, you never mentioned East 9 getting snubbed.
I am still in mid East 9, so I would even agree that East 9 got snubbed, especially what it's doing the amount of, again, ep8 got one of the best what's called fast travel system out there.
Oh yeah. The series is incredible in terms of how much they do in terms of convenience. You know, like the ep8 even had the option to disable the tips during loading screens, so the loading screens would go faster.
I think what ep8 does well as well is the ability to wall run. Like, that's basically almost like a hack for me. When you do that,
traversal was amazing. Yeah.
Sorry?
The traversal was amazing in 9.
Yeah. The ability to wall run, I love that. I truly do. So, do you think again a developer should what's called there should be a thing like almost like is there any Japanese Game of the Year award or something like that?
Breath of the Wild?
No. Japanese.
You mean
is there one?
Yeah, an award show.
Yeah, JRP. Oh no. Oh, you mean an award show in Japan?
Yeah.
Not a show, but you do get. I think not Jamatsu, but Famitsu or whatever. I think does do awards.
Yeah, but
because
they're not official.
Because it truly seems to be, if you don't fuck with what you're doing, if you don't create a great game, if you don't go mainstream, you're not gonna get choice pick.
Actually, this might be some, for some people it's hard to accept. But I think it's just really the truth, and I began to accept it that one of the most sure ways to get recognized as a game is really good graphics.
Oh yeah.
Like any game, as long as it has graphics pretty enough to look pretty for the eyes, it's gonna get noticed. A great looking game doesn't get snubbed. Like for example, if you watch, like again, game announcements, right? Most attention always goes to those games with great graphics. Always, most attention. It's just the truth. And again, Tales of Arise, I really strongly believe one of the reasons why it became popular is it's the visual overhaul. The massive jump in graphics from the last Tales to this Tales is big.
Oh, it is.
And even I want photo mode for this one because it just looks that good. And and what do you call this? Grand Blue Fantasy Railing, for example, that game is a massive IP in Japan. Yes, it really never got that global recognition before, but then after Relic, all of a sudden people are waiting for it because it just looks.
Now I'm
not gonna lie, I never played it before then, so.
And I never played Grand Blue, and I am waiting for the Grand Blue.
But
and again, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, when you say that, I certainly think graphics play a part, but it's not the be all end all because case in point, Lost Judgment looked amazing. That didn't help it getting nominated.
Fantastic.
I think there have been games.
I think sorry, Wibshar. I know what you're saying about Lost Judgment. Sorry, I know what you're saying about Lost Judgment. However, I really hate to say this because I love the game so much, but it seems like Lost Judgment's graphics, it seems to be not enough for global appeal. I don't know how to put my finger on it. For example, I'm gonna give you an example. For example, if Judgment character in gameplay character models look like something like what 7 Remake had, I think it would have had more chance for recognition.
But
I really believe it seemed like it was not enough.
I totally disagree with that because the facial animations are amazing in that game. So
I know. Yeah, I know.
I don't think that the graphics here plays a role. And what I was trying to make a point is that not every game that gets nominated for Game of the Year has great graphics. Psychonauts 2. I mean, come on, you're not going to tell me that game got nominated for its graphics. And you know, Hades.
The Psychonauts 2 is just an indie darling, basically.
I feel like that was a charity awards. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Psychonauts is made by a small team, and you know they got their own art style going for them.
Yeah, owned by one of the biggest corporations in the world. Yeah, small. No, but you know,
I get it.
We have that every year because Hades. You know, I mean,
it is beautiful though.
I like
it is beautiful.
Yeah, but you know, it's not like have amazing graphics.
No,
Celeste
that's true.
was also nominated for Game of the Year.
I think I only spoke for majority terms. There are, of course, there are always going to be exceptions. Mm-hmm. But I was like talking about, you know, in your experience for the majority, one sure way to get recognized. And I said sure way because, you know, there is no way, you know, a good-looking game, like maybe a very small chance a good-looking game gets ignored.
Yeah, I think the game journalists, generally the games that they like are games that break the norm basically. So they generally, I think maybe okay, of course with JRPGs it might be unfamiliarity with the genre or that they have preference for other genres, but like I think that the reason why they nominated some of Deathloop is because they feel like this is different from your typical, you know, first-person shooter, and probably because they like arcade for some reason.
They did. You're right. They did say that though. They said that, and don't get me wrong, I haven't seen it yet, but they said the structure of Deathloop, the way that the game wove the weird restart mechanic with the story and then with the characters, they said something about the way the design was, about how it was done. For some reason, they all like it was like a journalistic darling or something they were all waiting for, which is why. So yeah, you're right. They did say that.
But it is like, to be fair, because I mean we can complain about them all day, but you know, if it's your job, I can understand that if you have to play, you know, a shit ton of games, even games that you don't want to play, because that's your job to review them, then the games that appear to be different will stand out, and those are likely to become, if you're in charge of the nominations, become nominated for Game of the Year. So there's a certain predictability to, because I knew Deathloop was going to be nominated. I knew Psychonauts 2 was going to be nominated. So there's a certain predictability to that to a certain extent, and that might not necessarily coincide with what we as gamers feel, because we don't have that. We play games because they're fun. We don't feel any obligation to play them. If you don't like it, don't play it. And we will have a different opinion because we don't consider this, you know, work. We consider this, you know, relaxation and fun. And we will have different preferences. And unfortunately, that will always be the case. And to be fair, you know, I still prefer, you know, a game award show based on journalists or you know, people at least in the industry picking the winners than having this by popular vote, because you know then Call of Duty will win every time or whatever.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Like if you want to know
what go ahead.
Will be nominated, I'm sorry, Omar, but if you want to know what games will be nominated, this is generally what I do. You just got to look for the games that were, you know, pretty highly rated, with that have at least over like 100 reviews, and those are usually the games that get nominated for Game of the Year. Like the games with the most reviews are the games that get the nominations 9 times out of 10.
Okay, gotcha. Ep8, I need you for this one. explain to me how the fuck Cyberpunk got nominated for RPG of the Year?
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, personally, I'm gonna tell you why. I mean, that's easy. A lot of, if not, 100% of the people who voted for that, I'm gonna tell you they played it on PC. RTX 3080s, living it up. And most likely had an experience similar to mine. Um, I mean, I wasn't shocked personally, but I mean, you know me, I put 165 hours in it. You know what I mean? And I enjoyed every single moment I played of it. Uh, so I mean, the story was great for me. I chose, like I said, like I said, a lot of people, you know, downplayed the vote, but it played a big factor for me. But the character you chose to start with, or the story start, my Nomad playthrough was brilliant. The characters, there was a lot of emotion and stuff in the characters and the situations they were going through. The world felt like it was living and breathing all around me. The skill sets and stuff, the skill trees, the way your character was built. I mean, I can't praise a lot of what I experienced in that game enough. I know the driving was one thing that got really shut down by a lot of publications, which was pretty obvious when you played, that a lot of them only played with like some of the starting vehicles, because vehicles, unlike Grand Theft Auto, where like a vehicle might be like slow, but the handling is still relatively the same. A lot of these handle way differently. So when you do get some of the really upgraded high end cars, you know, they could turn on a dime.
Oh yeah,
so I mean,
we see the driving, all right. We see the driving, how you park one car and they can't even go around that.
Yeah, man, we see all the fun glitches.
Also, we seen how what's called police teleport literally behind you.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I didn't have any of those crazy glitches, but I'm also really like to the code when I play a game.
I actually disagree with you that it is the 3080 and the 90s that got great experience, because I know a big YouTuber that got either 3080 or 3090, Angry Joe. He have over 50 on video glitches and bugs.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying everybody they had a great experience. I'm saying those are the people you're talking about that voted for it, though. So a lot of publications that gave it a high score, that enjoyed the game, a lot of them were based on the PC review. So I was saying a lot of those publications is who played it.
I'm sorry.
Don't need no rewards for that damn game.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you are on my show and you vote for this award, I'm gonna not.
I'm not gonna give it over the other games. Yeah.
Not you. Someone in general. If I am Jeff Keighley, and you're gonna vote on that award, yeah, I'm gonna question your gaming, not only skill, but more like it's like if you wanna vote it for your own personal gaming of the year, you do you. But when you wanna give it a high accolade over other games and allow the developers to get notoriety out of it, like, no, they don't deserve it. They absolutely don't.
I don't think CD Projekt Red deserves to be up there. I mean, that's not a shot to developers. I know it wasn't the developers' fault.
No, it is absolutely a shot. It is absolutely a shot to the developers, because they knew what
it was a manager issue. It was
no. They knew what's happening and they didn't talk about it. They
of course they're not. It's their job.
Yeah, I mean, you ain't trying to cut that paycheck, bro. Let's be real.
Like, yeah, I ain't gonna say shit. I'm not trying to get fired.
Oh yeah, so see, my girlfriend is in the chat right there. She's talking about it now because she saw me playing it.
Who is she?
She sat down and saw me playing it.
Because I can't
She's talking in chat as Fox Mamba, but but she saw me playing the game and was like, "Man, this game looks incredible." But she was saying like it was amazing to watch, like just the parts that she saw me play.
Again, a game like Cyberpunk doesn't deserve any accolade. A game that literally almost bankrupts the entire company.
Oh yeah, I mean the it's not so like one thing is like the industry effect and all the shit that happened. But if you ask me, obviously, if you're asking me about my personal experience with the game, yeah, I mean, I loved it. I don't really, but I mean, y'all know how I roll. I don't really give a fuck what everybody else happened. I'm just telling you what happened with me.
No, that's real. That's real. Gaming is a selfish hobby. Like it's about you.
Yeah, you know? Like my playthrough was flawless.
Everybody else is feeling.
Yeah, like while everybody else was praising Valhalla, while I was playing Cyberpunk. Oh, they was praising the shit out of that on my timeline, and it's funny.
One at a time, please.
I can tell you. I can actually tell you.
Like garbage.
I actually counted my glitches. So the only 2 times I had an issue in my first playthrough, which was 60 plus hours, was I had so at one point you can zoom in or something and like focus, and I had the focus stayed on the screen. I reloaded 3 seconds ago, and it went away. And then at one point after I talked to Pan Am, the scene wouldn't move forward. And I just Googled it real quick, and they were like, oh, manually save and then reload the save. And that was it. Everything else was absolutely freaking flawless. But like I said, again, I don't play the games a lot of people do really stupid shit when they play open world games. I do not do that. Like Grand Theft Auto, people want to run around and punch hoes and do all this other weird shit. Like I don't like when I'm playing the campaign, like I don't do all this weird off the beaten path weird stuff. Like
that's all I want to do.
Well, but exactly,
I know that's all you want to do.
And some people, that's how some people roll. Like I do that stuff eventually, yeah, after I beat the game and stuff. But like I'm dead focused on everything. Like people were like the park cars and stuff like that. Like I didn't park my car like that. Like I did everything in a realistic sense. Like why would I didn't park in the middle of the street.
Your car kept running after when you got out of it, or
no.
So you didn't
no.
Car?
So you want to tell me your car didn't teleport from one place to another?
Nope. None of that.
Your car didn't come jumping, flying out of nowhere?
Nope.
Okay, so you actually had a game.
My brother had a good experience, and he was playing it on a PS4. Like I don't see the plans, but that game was just good at like some places, bad at like other places.
Yeah,
like,
somebody else commented. Somebody else commented the other day, like you said, just like your brother, and he said he played on PS4 and he loved it. He said he put like 80 hours.
I was pissed off because my shit crashed every 30 minutes, and he was like, I didn't have one crash. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I did find that weird, but that's why I told people I was like, I can only speak from my experience, but it does suck because I know the depth and of the CD Projekt Red developers. They're incredible. So I know it was a bunch of mess going on when they couldn't deliver the game they wanted to, but I also think at the same time, the management basically forced something, and this is the problem with shareholders and people who actually don't know what it takes to make a game. The game should have been cut from last generation consoles entirely.
For sure.
It could not run it. If you have if most of you guys have been playing games as long as I have, or at least since the PlayStation 3 or whatever.
Ooh, it's calling you out.
Huh? No, I'm saying anyone. I don't know everybody's. I don't know when everybody started, but if you've ever seen the effect that volumetric smoke, there you go. But volumetric smoke is one of the worst things to ever be generated in video games. But by volumetric smoke, I mean like just smoke in general.
It always looks shitty.
It looks shitty, right? Because it's super hard to generate, and if you've ever seen the way that they have to make it, you actually understand why. It's comprised of so many damn particles and like triangles and shit to make
shit
it
look like it be
realistic.
running at like 15 FPS. I'd be like, why does smoke look like that?
Yeah, like it's
It pisses
crazy.
me off.
Yeah, so like this city, the city in a lot of places has an immeasurable amount of verticality to it, and a lot of the simulation is running constantly. And this kind of stuff is where I always explain to people, this is where the difference comes in when I'm really into the industry versus people who just play games. So one of the things that a lot of people didn't know unless you watched the making of Horizon Zero Dawn, and this is a huge factor about when I talk about people are like, why don't they just release all these games on every platform and all this other mess, right? Well, a lot of the things that they developed during Horizon Zero Dawn, the speed that they did it at, was the fact that they were focusing solely on the development of the PlayStation 4 and then the enhancements for the PS4 Pro, and that was it. Which have the exact same architecture, but in an enhanced version with the PS4 Pro. They were able to develop techniques and tools specifically designed to handle the game and give you the experience that we all got when we played the game. And part of that is a really creative system where, and this is something that comes up even a bigger factor later on for the PS5 now. They were able to get the loading to synchronize in a way that if you spun around in a circle in Horizon Zero Dawn, anything that was outside of your vision, even if you spun like as fast as you could, whatever is outside of your vision cone, what you see, you'll never see this, of course. But if you watch the video, anything outside of what you see is partial generated. So it lessens the strain on everything that is being generated and gives you the visual fidelity that you're able to achieve even on base PS4s. You know, and this type of tech and the stuff that they have in hand is also shared with games like the God of War and stuff like that, and all these different things. And this is where we're talking about like the in-house development and the culture in these companies can really achieve stuff. This is why you see a lot of times PlayStation developers achieving shit well beyond what the rest of the industry is capable of. They're sharing all this internal knowledge, this back and forth, and this camaraderie in elevating each other. Like like one of the most successful teams you'll ever see, right? I forget the woman's name, right? But and this is a perfect example, right? Some of the most successful people you see in life in general are teams of people who push each other, right? I forget the woman's name, but she was the hurdler, like the best hurdler or something. Me and my girlfriend both watched. She was amazing to watch run, right? One of the key factors about her, she grew up running with her brother, and they both broke repeated records back and forth throughout high school, and both went on to like try out for the Olympic team. She made the Olympic team. She completely changed her coach, but her brother was still running with her. Brother was still with her. Like these people who are in these relationships that constantly strengthen each other, constantly push each other and reinforce it. This is the nature of what you get with the internal studios with something like the way PlayStation works. We're competitive, but we're also helping each other. Yep. You know what I mean? So like that right there, it could have been a factor to help, to help. Like their name is slipping me right now. CD Projekt Red, develop stuff differently, but instead they're developing for 5 different platforms, and then they're also wanting to exceed. They're also Sydney McLaughlin. There you go. My girlfriend said her name. That was her name. But the whole thing, iron sharpens iron, kind of thing. But at the same time, we also understand most of us in here have either played a Switch or whatnot, and we also understand when something is just too weak. Let's be real. Like, I complain about it all the time in our group chat. You know what I mean? Like, as much as I want to love SMT5, and I do, and I'm probably going to beat it, and it's a great game, seeing a game drop to 27 FPS pisses me off immediately because it's very obvious when a game is not locked to 30. So, like, that is just a perfect instance when a game is just too weak to be on the system to give you the experience that you want. And a lot of companies are just not brave enough to leave those numbers behind. And this is one thing where I commend, because I was playing Destiny real heavy back then. I commend Destiny when they went to Destiny 2 and they immediately left back the old consoles because they said the old consoles could not give the experience that they wanted players to have, the baseline experience. And this immediately combated anything people were saying about, oh, well, everything's scalable, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you want to scale to 0 NPCs walking on the street? How about that? No, because that that is not the experience that you are meant to have in Cyberpunk. You know, and it needs a certain amount of horsepower to run that game. And yeah, you know, yeah, it could be better optimized and stuff like that. But eventually, no amount of optimization is going to give you the experience that I've had on PC with an RTX 3080 on a PS4. Like, so yeah, that's where that game definitely runs into a lot of stuff. And I think they'll do much better in the future. I'm glad they're on the recovery, and screw the person who hacked them because they messed up a bunch of stuff. So that was another debacle they went through that screwed up patches and all the stuff that they were working on. But yeah, man, like I said, it was dope. But yeah,
Okay.
to what you said, your end about nominated. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have nominated it over something like SMT 5 or something. But also at the same time, I think SMT 5 for me personally, I think it came so late that it should have been pushed to. It might not have missed the deadline, but the game is so big that I was like personally. Like no one in the public at least has had enough time with the game by the time the nominees came out. Even I know Chris is having a whole ball with the game, Chris Righteous or whatever. He is adamant and he is comparing it to Pokemon every day. But like he still ain't had enough time. I don't care how I don't care if he played it every waking moment. By the time the JRPG nominees came out, he had not had enough time with the game to go against every other nominee in the JRPG category. So I just think that in particular SMT 5 should have just been pushed, is a perfect example of a game that should have just been pushed to a next year nominee. And maybe it will. I don't know. But
with that, can you explain to me why Flight Sim is nominated again?
What was it nominated for? I can't remember.
I know it's nominated.
I gotta look it up. I don't remember what they got nominated for.
Despite the fact it already got nominated last year. So how can you get nominated for a second year in a row? Like,
did they get nominated last year?
Yeah.
I don't remember what they got nominated.
I think it's like best strategy game.
Yeah, I think it. It got okay. Yeah, I know why it got nominated. I'm gonna be honest. That's just the limitation in that category. Yeah, you're right. It got nominated. They put simulation and strategy together is what they did. Which doesn't make any sense.
You might as well put Last of Us 2 then in it. Hey, if you wanna be fraudulent, then put Last of Us 2 again. Put Final Fantasy 7 Remake again.
Yeah, I don't remember what they got nominated for in 2020 though. So if it was like anticipated or something, maybe I don't know.
It's like the game. It shouldn't be nominated this year, right?
I mean, I agree, but maybe they're doing it from a the Xbox perspective. I don't know because it got released on Xbox.
The game is old.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. So then, why didn't Hades get nominated? Hades just came out for PlayStation and Xbox.
Well, I mean, it's also still the same game. So, like, there's a big difference in the version for Xbox versus the version I play on PC. There's a lot of stuff that's like, I mean, yeah, the game still plays great if you have like a Series X, but so to give you an example, it's basically a different game. So to give you an example, and we got some of that, so I can tell you that because I bought it day one. So to give you an idea, the patch for PC when the optimization changes released for the Xbox was so big, my patch was like 127 gigabytes.
That's a patch.
Yeah, it was absolutely massive. It was basically another game times two. So like the stuff they had to do to achieve it, it basically was a different game. And I went from getting like the game was so badly optimized prior to that, like I was getting like 27 FPS and now I average like 80 FPS. But the game still looks the same.
Okay.
So that's a big factor.
Let me ask you this then, and I'm curious what you guys would say. Which one has the worst record? 15 times the details or we leave great to others?
Wait, what?
Come on, all of you, you should know this.
I might have missed that joke on Twitter.
Yeah,
or something
you clearly did. 15
Yeah,
times the details. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I can't remember what the joke is from.
Okay,
I heard it, but I don't remember.
This is from Todd Howard when he first talked about Fallout 76. 15 times the details.
Okay,
he said.
Yeah, I remember now.
Okay, and the other one we leave great to other. You should know about this one.
I forgot who said it though.
Cyberpunk, CD Projekt Red.
Oh yeah. Well, people got on them for that because they said no microtransactions, and then people heard about the multiplayer version of Cyberpunk and how it would have that. I'm gonna give it to 15 times the detail because that whole shit was irrelevant because that game was fucking terrible.
Nah, I'm gonna give it to Cyberpunk for one simple reason. That game alone almost killed an entire developer.
Well, no, but the greed to others thing is referencing something else, though. It's not even it's not Cyberpunk itself. It was like the future game.
It's CD Projekt Red. And they are comparing their game, Cyberpunk, to a different game. They put themselves on such a high pedestal.
So hold on. So the greed thing was them talking about no microtransactions.
I know, I'm fully aware. But before you talk about no greed, fix your fucking game.
That wasn't the broken. They said that before the game released, though.
You released a game that's broken. You released a game. You fucked your audience over so badly. You literally didn't allow what's called reviewers to showcase gameplay footage of their own gameplay. Like, come on. We all know how scummy they are.
Yeah, I feel you.
That's why
also to your question earlier.
For me, that overtakes 15 times the detail.
Well, I fucking hated Fallout 76, and I'm a major fan of Bethesda.
Oh, you're a major fan of Bethesda. Okay, that's
so they pissed me off with that a lot. But yeah, to answer your question earlier when you said why did they get nominated, if you look at this category, the rest of this shit don't even matter in this category besides Age of Empires 4. Like, I don't even know what the hell Inscription is. Humankind was like a worse civilization, and I have no idea what the hell Evil Genius 2 World Domination is. So yeah, that's why that shit got nominated.
Oh yeah, Evil 2 World Domination is like what's called I truly know what it is. I watched a review of it from ATG. It's like almost like a strategy game, but without actual fighting. It's more like take over the world type of thing. Kind of like...
Oh yeah, that sounds really stupid.
You have a minion that have the ability to... No, I think they're fighting, but not like fighting the way that normal is. Just a different type of fighting. It's a unique game, let's call it that. Um, yeah. Anyone else? What's your opinion on 15 times the detail versus will agree to other? Which company was worse? Welcome to that. Blue? Weeb? Good morning. Are you sleeping? So it seems.
I
Kay,
think they're all there.
Kay, you here?
I don't even think Kay remembers that.
Yeah. That was me.
Hi. So 15 times the details versus will you agree to others? Which one do you think was the worst?
Well, technically, they didn't even implement microtransactions yet because there's a multiplayer.
Yeah, so that was my thing. That's why I was like, they never introduced them, so I was like, definitely 15 times the detail.
I mean, if we, I mean, I still like CDPR more than Bethesda because of Witcher 3. But yeah, what they did with Cyberpunk was scummy as hell. Question is, which one is worse? I don't know because Bethesda has been doing this shit over and over again. I mean, look at what they did with Fallout 76, and they're releasing buggy as hell games every single time.
Hey, I blame that on the modders. The modders are the ones that modding for them and fixing it for them. If you didn't
They're not.
do that,
No, hold on, no. First of all, that doesn't apply to fucking consoles. Nobody's fixing their games on consoles, and
yeah, no,
modders are not just fixing the games. They're making mods because that's fun to do.
but they
That's
are
part
also
entirely part of
fixing the game
PC
for
game.
Bethesda for free,
No,
mind you.
they're not fixing. I mean, look, yeah, some games have patches made by fans because nobody else is fixing them, but that's not
Exactly,
that's
exactly.
not the business model, I'd say.
Yeah, that's not a business model, yeah. Also, you couldn't do that in Fallout 76 because that's where that 15 times the detail shit came from.
Yeah.
You can't do that in that because that game is online in a server. So everything that had to be done in that game had to be done from the developer side. Which, to their credit, they did improve eventually. But yeah, I got too much fire on my plate to be worried about playing Fallout 76 ever.
Remember when they said we don't need human NPC?
Oh, I definitely remember them saying that bullshit.
Yeah.
They retracted the shit out of that about a year later.
Yeah.
I mean, at least with Cyberpunk, I mean, personally, after everything was patched, for me, I didn't, it didn't click with me. I mean, I played it for a bit, spent several dozen hours, and at some point, I don't really care too much about these characters and about the story to continue playing it. But I can at least see, what they were trying to do, and I can see that this game basically was taken out of the oven a bit too soon. They should have given the developers the time they needed to make this game as they envisioned it. And you definitely for the last gen versions, either cancel them or they should have spent more time fixing them. But if you look at Fallout 76, that game is such a cynical cash grab that they just try to prey on. Fallout is a single player experience, and then they try to make it a games as a service. I mean, that's as cynical as you can get with game development. So, I mean, I still hold a CDPR even after everything they did in higher regard than Bethesda because at the very least the developers still want to make these experiences that their fans want, and Bethesda just really just wants to make as much money as possible any way they can.
15 times the detail. Morgana.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What's your take? Which one is the worst?
I would have to go with 15 times the detail, just because the microtransaction thing. When they said that, we leave greed to others, they were referring to their single player experience. We're not gonna put microtransactions in this game. Cyberpunk 2077, the single player game, which was correct. They didn't say anything about their other game, which is the multiplayer. They're gonna put microtransactions in that. So yeah, 15 times the detail, because Fallout 76, yeah, where was the detail at? Question. I don't know. So
it really seems to be I'm the only one that, as much as I know what they're talking about.
You're just really upset with Cyberpunk. I think that's what it is.
I am upset. I am upset. No. I never once give a fuck about Cyberpunk. That's not my issue. My issue is how they fuck the fan base over. And again, I don't give a fuck about their fan base. You do you. I give a fuck about other company following them. That's what I fear.
Well, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to follow that.
Yeah, I would say that honestly, this has helped because I've seen a lot of games, pushing back and delaying because they don't want the same outcome that CD Projekt Red got from fans and the gaming industry. I've seen actually a lot of positive from
the
what
fans
happened.
ate it up. Let's be real.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying as far as like the gaming industry goes, like I've seen them take caution, take heed to releasing, their games because they don't want that kind of reception.
Definitely. I think a lot of games after Cyberpunk got delayed precisely because they didn't want a repeat of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I mean, it sucks. It happened to such a developer that was on the rise, and had such a great game with Witcher. But I'm not giving up on them because of one mistake from, the management and hardware that couldn't keep up and a bunch of other factors. I still think they're gonna come out with some dope stuff. I'm excited for what they're gonna do.
Because they literally said don't expect anything from what's called from the next gen upgrade.
Oh yeah, I mean I don't know how far that's gonna be, but I mean I also know they're working on the Witcher 3 one at the same time, which I thought was weird. But I mean again that doesn't affect me either because I played Witcher 3 on PC and PS4, so
yeah. I skipped you because I thought maybe no, it's not like I skipped you. I did skip you, but I still want to hear your opinion. Hey.
What's up? What's up?
15 times the detail versus we believe greed to other. We leave greed to other. Which one is worse?
Sorry, I'm working. So what exactly 15 times the detail?
Are you aware of what's the story or no?
I told you I don't think Kay was in on it when it happened.
Yeah, I don't think Kay is in on it. So we're gonna move forward then. The next topic is going to be Activision. Ooh la la. Who have any idea what's going on with Activision?
I mean, other than it burning down in fire?
Yep. Other than burning down on fire.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of sexual harassment claims and toxic, culture and people in power abusing their power, threatening to have people killed if they speak out. I mean, the list is. It looks like a supervillain movie. So I mean, like it's like I don't. It's just so long.
Are you talking about the guy that got a slap on the wrist?
Yep.
When a female worker came out and said that he sexually, harassed or or
Yeah, no, he
inappropriately touched
harassed
her after
them,
they were
yeah.
drinking. Yeah, and they just gave him a slap on the wrist, and because like apparently like he helped the games bring in a lot of money. Like he helped the success of the Call of Duties, and so they're like, no, we still need him.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So do you think
and
anything's
then
gonna
Jim
come
Ryan
from
sent
that?
an email to.
Yeah, so Jim Ryan sent an email, and then Phil Penter sent a different email, and all of a sudden they're praising Phil Penter and not Jim Ryan.
I would hope he sent a different email. It would be awkward if they sent the same one.
Yeah, it would.
Copy and paste.
It
Yeah,
was
that,
definitely a
format.
copy and paste situation.
but yeah,
Well, to
that
be
was
fair, we
brilliant.
don't know
I'm a
when the email
retweet
was
that.
sent, so we can comment on that. But one thing for sure is, do you think we're gonna actually see some change?
I think they will feel the pressure a bit, but I don't know. It also feels like Sony and Microsoft are doing this to avoid getting dragged into this. But I think especially Sony, because they do have a more closer relationship with Activision than the Microsoft has. I mean, all these deals they have for Call of Duty and stuff. So I think they're probably getting ahead of the inevitable dumpster fire that's going to be to not get associated with Activision for all the sexual harassment and apparently death threats now. I mean, Jesus Christ, Bobby Kotick really needs to go. It's possible, but I don't know. I mean, so far Activision has shown to not care about anything that has come out and not really want to change anything. So probably they're just going to do some, some on the surface changes and promise to do better. And uh, I don't think Bobby's gonna uh, you know let himself be fired because and they probably don't want to because he makes that company too much money. So I don't think. I mean, look at Ubisoft.
Yeah.
They also had the same problem with all the sexual harassment, and a couple of people got fired, but a lot of the people who actually were accused of even sexual harassment and even rape are still working there. They just haven't reassigned, and they haven't implemented any changes that they promised. So, I mean, if Ubisoft can get away with it, Activision can get away with it.
I mean, it's like they said that they gave him a slap on the wrist because he brought so much success and so much money to Activision. I honestly don't think anything will happen. That they won't really take any serious action that they actually need to until they start losing money, because then that's when that will really hurt them. And for that to happen, people are going to have to stop buying Activision games, but that's not going to happen.
I saw their shares going down 30%.
Yeah, I mean that's public.
That might do it.
Yeah, so public backlash will have some effect. And I mean, like Kay said, it's really about the money, and that's like Blue said, that's a start of the money. But like the stock can only drop but so much because the worth of the company has a hard line in the market. So you can drop, but it does cost you a massive ton of money. Like the way stocks are really weird that way.
Yeah.
But ultimately the bottom line, they're gonna have to fill it in the pocket, and to get a company that's that massive and that successful to feel it, it's gonna take. You're talking about at least a 2-time cycle of a massive drop, basically like what Blizzard experienced, but where
same company, by the way.
Huh?
Same company, by the way.
Oh yeah. Well, no, but I'm saying separately though, because Blizzard. I'm using them separately because Blizzard themselves is what actually got in trouble. Not, I know they combined the company name like Square Enix, but they're weird like that. But Blizzard specifically, as in the building where Blizzard people work, they don't work together. So when they got in trouble, they saw the biggest drop in history of subscriptions to World of Warcraft for the first time in over a decade or something crazy like that.
Yeah, it has to be extreme. It has to be extreme. Like, and
Yeah.
for Activision as a whole, I honestly think, and like to me, I can't see it would never happen. But for it to actually work, it would have to be so extreme that when they announce a new game, like another Call of Duty or something, no one pre-orders, and day one release, no one buys it, and they say get your shit together, and then we'll buy your games. That's the only way I can see it actually happening.
Yeah, and of course the main thing with that is, I mean, let's be real, like we know about it and a lot of it's publicized, so some people will know about it outside of us that are in the know, but there's a ton of people, they go
Like,
work
yeah, you have
they go
the
work 9 to
casuals
5,
that,
come home and buy Call of Duty, and
yeah,
that's all they do.
yeah, like the casuals that like all they do is they look for the announcement and that's it. They don't actually listen to gaming news.
Yeah,
Well,
they're not.
Or anything.
to be fair, I think that this kind of stuff will make the mainstream news, so they probably will become aware of it. And there was somebody on Twitter was saying like, oh, you shouldn't boycott the game because or the games because that will hurt the developers. And nothing changed, and he was throwing around some terms like golden parachutes, and he didn't really know what they actually meant. And I was like, dude, but I know that probably not a lot will change, but boycotting a game, could help. As you said, if like see with Blizzard, if they actually will notice, and it doesn't, even if Call of Duty will always sell a lot, but if they see, okay, it's below pre-orders and below projections, then the shareholders will say, hey, this shit is actually starting to cost us money. So we want to see some change there. And that's when a boycott can be effective because they know this can cost them money. And they will at the very least have to show that they're doing something. And hurting developers, I mean, Activision fired hundreds of developers even after they had record profits. So whether or not they make money, they're going to fire people anyway. So you shouldn't worry about developers getting hurt by you not buying a game. They will, they're already being hurt by because of this toxic culture. So I think that's sort of a bullshit argument saying, okay, let's not do anything because it won't work or it will harm the developers. That's an excuse that these companies, that the CEOs want you to think that you shouldn't do that because they want to keep the status quo. They don't want to see any change. So a boycott might be effective if you actually want to affect change, but obviously it won't do anything if it's just you. But if enough people do it, even if it's just a small drop in like if it's a 1% drop in their pre-orders, it could have an effect because it's a publicly traded company. It's in the news. These stockholders, these major shareholders will put one and one together, and they might want demand change. And you have Ryan and Spencer now publicly calling them out. This is getting out of hand. So they do need to. They probably will feel it at some point that they have to do something again. I don't expect that Bobby Kotick will resign. I think he will just do some some on the surface change or promise to do better, blah blah blah, and that's it. But uh, you know, if you want to boycott the games, go right ahead. It won't hurt the developers any more than they're already hurting those developers. It might actually do something. So I won't discourage anybody from doing it.
How does it feel? I want to know the lady's opinion. How does it make you feel? Morgan, Kay, anyone here?
How does what make us feel?
Well, one of you is a lady. Well, both of you are ladies. Sorry. I wanted one of your, well, both of your opinion on this one. How does that make you feel? The way this story is developing. Do you feel any change gonna happen, or you don't believe any change gonna ever come up from it?
I think they're gonna bury his story with more news, and nothing's really gonna come of it.
Agreed.
I mean, that's what usually happens, you know.
Well, I mean, the only problem like for them is that it's not just one though. Like, I know you were speaking about the specific guy, but it's like it's like mad allegations coming out right now.
Yeah, I know the mad allegation, but this one, it is one of the higher up, and he knew.
It's a CEO.
Yeah.
And
if you're talking about Bobby, Bobby got too much money, bro. I'm sorry. Like, that's white collar shit right there. Like, Bobby got too much money. Like, even if he went to prison, it's Martha Stewart prison, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, he gonna be chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's never for him.
Exactly. Yeah, it's never gonna go that deep.
Yeah, sure, but this is why it's different from Ubisoft. I mean, Ubisoft, Guillermo or whatever you pronounce his name. I mean, he was obviously responsible because he's the CEO, and he didn't do anything, to take any measures against it. But he could still, pretend that he didn't know, blah blah blah. Bobby can no longer do that because it's now revealed he did know, and he was part of the problem, and he was also accused of sexually harassing women and even threatening to kill them. So, I mean, this is a lot worse for him than it was for Eve. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I'm so curious. I mean, again, I don't think they will fire him, but I never say never because it might also be a good time with okay. I mean, he basically doesn't have to worry about money. I mean, the dude is just doing it for the thrills or whatever. So
yeah, the worst that might happen is they force him or say, "Yo, you just need to resign." Like,
and he'll get a big ass severance package too.
Yeah.
He'll just live off on an island somewhere.
He doesn't even need that. I mean,
he doesn't even need the package, which is crazy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I'm realistic about it. I mean, I think some other people will get in some decent trouble. Not him though.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Okay. It won't be him.
They have to punish someone, but it's not going to be him.
Yeah, definitely gonna be him. This man been avoiding trouble since I was like 10 years old. Like, yeah, there's no way.
I'm gonna shift here still with Call of Duty now. Call of Duty bans may now apply to all past, present, and future games in the series. I like that.
I mean, my only thing with that is that, like I said, if it's my problem with bans like that is that it has to be absolute, right?
Yeah.
Like, there are a number of times where they have made mistakes with bans, especially like automated detection bans and stuff like that.
I don't want it to be animated. I want it to be, so again, I'm speaking for myself. I want it to be proven.
Yeah, it has to be undisputed facts.
Then I
that
want
this person
them
was cheating
to get out of here.
Yeah.
Can I get banned so I never have to play a Call of Duty game again?
I never played any Call of Duty game, so I don't care about it. But I like this. Okay, so I have watched J-Body, Persona, and other play a game called Kimetsu no Yaiba, Demon Slayer, online.
Yeah.
When you are out here rage quitting, you deserve a ban. I'm sorry. If you're connected.
Well, but also you can't. So again, that the problem with that though is you can't. There's no way for them to determine whether or not you quit. So if they pull
Nah,
like
dude,
my
you can
stuff
literally
is
see it on the video when he is destroying him to zero. Come on.
well, yeah, I'm not talking about somebody like quitting like that. I'm talking about like all my stuff's hardwired. If I pull the cord out, you don't know whether or not I pulled the cord out or if I just lost internet connection.
Yeah.
I
Like they don't
definitely
have any
would be
way to
okay.
determine
So
that.
then I would say play again, and if you get destroyed, then I'm gonna ban you. End of story.
But
But
you definitely don't want to do that as a cost.
no.
That's not cost effective.
So
They will
what?
punish people for that. I'll tell you how that works now. They punish people for that, but I can tell you factually where I've just had nights where I've played League of Legends online and I've had connection issues and a bunch of other shit, and I've had to wait like 30 minutes to play the next game, and it was completely not my fault. But I was repeatedly getting disconnected. So they punish you for it by making you wait, but they'll never like implementing a full blown ban on someone who purchased like the product like that is not gonna it's not a good business practice.
It's really making me mad how they don't even have any implementation for anything. Like you can literally play and fight, and when you're about to lose, you disconnect and call it a day. Like
I
Yeah,
that's
mean,
not
but people have been doing
fair.
that for years in like Call of Duty or Madden. People say that all the time on Madden. Like they're beating them 21 zip, and the person just disconnects, and it's
I'm so
like
glad I don't
yeah.
fuck with these games. I'm so glad. Single
Well,
player
this is
games
the
for
reason why that
life.
whole online experience may vary message is on the back of everything that's online.
Okay,
Like it's
so
just yeah. Now,
speaking
if you're
about
referring to a
that,
ban for cheating, then yes,
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Microsoft has announced the end of its Xbox backward compatibility program, citing licensing, legal, and technical constraints.
Ooh.
So they're no longer doing backward compatibility games.
Yep.
Well, no new
Stop.
ones, I guess, right?
Yeah, no new ones. Which I
Why?
knew they would
So
run
they
into it
cited
eventually.
Hmm.
the legal licensing and technical restraint. Mm,
Yeah,
constraint.
that's the entire basis for the backwards compatibility. Yeah, it's not actually backwards compatibility. It's just making these games run with a software patch on current gen consoles. At some point, you will hit a limit, and that's what they just hit.
So do you think they're gonna pick it back up ever, or it's end of it?
No, this is it. I mean,
Yeah,
this is
this
the
was supposed to
limit
be an
they hit.
official. Yeah, this is like hard cutoff. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
2 a.m. We ain't serving no more alcohol. That's it.
No more. Did you hear?
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Lucy? They're not serving you any more alcohol. Too bad.
That's when I go
Yeah,
behind the counter.
she was literally sleeping next to me, and she hid under the blanket. I'm like, "What are you doing?" I looked up, and she's asleep. She has a habit. Yeah. About now a different topic, cause that's so. So here is the thing, and people are free to call me, uh, like I'm fanboying or I'm using my fanboy glasses on. Shout out to Jody for that. I truly believe the only reason they started this whole backward compatibility is just to get cool point with their fan base. That's it.
I mean,
Well, I think I said
If you remove the backward compatibility games, what did Xbox Series X launch with? Falconeer?
well, yeah. You
well
mean
it.
you shore up your launch lineup with a bunch of old stuff, and people proclaim how
Yeah.
much they're loving it, and yeah. I mean, I think
Mhm.
most of it was cap. most people were full of it, but some of it was, like I said, some of it was genuinely really well done. I mean, I saw the 4K version for Red Dead and stuff like that. I'm not going to go back and play it, but I think that helped. I think that was the whole reason, to just shore up that lineup. Didn't really have an option. It turned out to be it's a benefit. I'm not going to say it's a negative. It worked as a benefit. I mean, Final Fantasy 13 as well in 4K or whatever. It looks really great. It's not a negative, but I mean, yeah, it was just to do that. But go ahead, Blue.
It's Final Fantasy 13
was always a looker.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 13 was always a looker, despite being one of the worst Final Fantasy out there.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But I think, I mean, obviously they had to do the Series X because they were doing that with the Xbox One. But I think that why they did it is a stopgap measure, because they didn't really have a lot of games, first-party games, and didn't get the third-party deals they were getting with 360. And wanted me to feature that they could brag about, at least keep their the fan base satisfied until they no longer were. But I guess I think they've achieved their business model, right? They're sort of create. I mean, we joke about them being like a cult, but it's sort of the same mechanics that they're exploiting. They say, okay, we have a very dedicated fan base. They're very loyal, and I'm putting that between quotation marks. And we can, if we foster that, if we keep sort of the idea that this is more than just fans of a gamers or fans of a console, but really a sort of exclusive group. They can milk these people, for whatever they can. This is the Xbox model. PlayStation doesn't need to do that because they have a much larger consumer group, and sure, they're dedicated fanboys, but they're not as cohesive as this Xbox fan base. It's quite cynical, but this is what it is. I mean, if companies see something they can exploit, they will do it.
Anyone else have anything to say about it? Nope.
No, I mean it
is what it
is. Man, it is what it is. Like I said, it wasn't a negative overall. It helped them clearly, because plenty of people downloaded those games via Game Pass, which cost them nothing extra beyond what they were already subscribed to. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, it helped them tremendously personally, clearly, by the amount of people buying Series S's as these, I don't know, weird secondary consoles that they feel the need to have. So, yeah, I mean, it's irrelevant to me personally. I played all those games already. I personally don't want to go back to play any of them outside of maybe Lost Odyssey. So I'm like, you got to be top tier for me to go back.
Wait. Lost Odyssey is playable now?
I thought that was one of the things that was in the announcement, was it not?
I don't know. Neither Lost Odyssey. I never played Lost Odyssey or ep8 or what's called Blue Dragon. I really want to play both.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play Blue Dragon, but if Lost Odyssey is, then
on my laptop or no?
Neither one of them. I mean, yeah, they could be emulated, but yeah, like.
Oh, emulation. Might try that. I really want to play Lost Odyssey. I heard a lot of things about it.
Yeah, apparently I can play it on my Xbox One S though, which is weird.
I had the ability to pay $25 for a 360 used, but I don't know. I didn't think I'm gonna be able to do it. I didn't think I need it, so I didn't pull the trigger on it.
I feel that.
Money, Lucy. And the final topic, I wanted to rage about Kyle. but he is not worth my breath. We're gonna talk about.
Yeah, I really don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, that's why I
same.
said I'm not gonna talk about that. We're
All
gonna
good.
talk. Sorry.
No, I said all good. Let's roll.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about how Blizzard first woman co-head resigned due to being tokenized, marginalized, and discriminated against. I don't know what tokenized mean. I think I know what marginalized mean. Discriminated, I know what it means. So anyone can explain to me what tokenized and marginalized and what's your take on this one?
What tokenized it, that they basically just gave her that position because she's a woman, and therefore made it look like, we're not sexist because we put a woman in charge. But she didn't. She got paid less than Mike Ibarra, who had the same position as her, and both of them were asking for her getting the same pay as he got. And only when she basically said, I'm leaving, that's when they offered her the same compensation that he got.
Is it not what they do in almost every sport? Like not the same way, but kind of like also, a little bit. Yeah, Ultra Mega, I agree. No return for Goty sucks. I wholeheartedly agree. So it's not the same thing, but it's just company being scummy. In wrestling, they have you on. They don't showcase you for the entire year. They don't make you important. And just when your contract is about to expire, they give you the belt and want you to sign a 5-year contract.
No, I don't think that's comparable, because it's very clearly that she wasn't getting. She should be getting the same pay because she had the exact same function as Mike Ibarra. So it makes absolutely no sense to not give her.
I agree. Because unlike wrestling, this one is not a physical job. It's just a job that you can do, whether you're a lady or a guy. Yeah.
Well, no, it doesn't really matter what the job is. It's basically just you have. I mean, with wrestling, you could still say, okay, one wrestler might have more market value than another one because they're more well known. So certainly you could argue there that there's difference in pay, just like this with other athletes and with movie stars and pop stars, etc. But here it's within the same company. You have basically within a corporation, you have salary scales, and function should have a particular salary that's appropriate to it. And if you have two people who you appointed to have the exact same position, they were both running Blizzard, replacing the previous head that left, and you're refusing to pay one the same you pay the other, and both of them are asking for it. That's even I guess kudos to Mike Ibarra that he was also challenging them on it, even though he didn't have anything to gain by it. But this is just pure scum, and also incredibly stupid because you're putting they have appointed clearly because they wanted to get rid of that image that they were very sexist and didn't treat women right, etc. And then they're doing extremely sexist thing by enforcing the glass ceiling, paying a woman in a position where she should basically point to effectuate change within that company, or at least make sure that the PR improves and they're getting not as much bad press as they're getting currently, and you're creating controversy, which very clearly is sexist, by not paying her the same as you would with her male counterpart. I mean, I don't know who made that bonehead decision, but I think that's probably the person you should fire and make sure that try to clean up your image, because
Can they sue them?
that person, those people are keeping that image, tainted as is.
Can she sue them?
Right? Can you sue them?
Yeah.
Not technically for that, most likely, because
No.
that's where contracts and stuff come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Companies don't play when it comes to signing that contract.
But she doesn't have to, because I think she decided to leave. And,
So
yeah,
it's
that's ultimately what you have to do. Yeah.
So basically, it's on her for signing while knowing what's happening.
Well, I'm not sure if she. I don't know when she knew or whatever. But as far as the reason, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But it's not on her, because she was appointed that position because
I thought
the previous head
I
left
misunderstood it then. I understood that she knew and she still signed. No, she didn't know. That's a different topic then.
Yeah, at some point during the tenure, they knew, and then that's when they asked, instead of leaving, she just asked for it, I guess, repeatedly at some point, and then of course they waited till the resignation, which I'm not going to tell you is not unheard of. That's standard business practice.
Not resignation, but more like when she was about to resign.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, that when they again. That's why I gave it the same what's called almost compared it to a wrestler, because how they only care about you only when you're about to leave.
Well, it's not the wrestler thing. That's a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
Like, particularly, I can tell you right now that several people on my team, we all do the same job, but almost none of us make the same money. We all make varying degrees, but that's the whole reason why companies always tell you, if you've ever worked for a corporate level type company, they always tell you don't share your salary, don't share what you make, because they try to keep everyone in the dark, because they know someone else who's doing the same job as you is getting paid more. Now, obviously, stuff happens. People drink, they go to functions, people accidentally say it out loud, or it gets put out in an email. Whatever happens, somebody finds out eventually. I mean, like I said, even factually now, like, I'm personally making the most money I've ever made in my life, but I also know like at least two other people on my team that make more than I do. One person would be right because they have they've been there a year longer than me. The other person was only there 3 months longer than me, and they were going to leave for a position that I know how much they were leaving for. And that's factually about 6,000 or 7,000 more than I make now. And they held on to that person. So they offered that person either to match or exceed what they were offered to leave. So I know factually that person makes that much more than me. You see what I'm saying? But we do the same job. But that's why they don't tell anyone that's why they do that. Don't tell anyone else what you make, this and that. It's all corporate bullshit to keep you down. And I also factually know that another person was going to leave, and this person, again, they have they would have had the year on me as well, but their knowledge didn't exceed it that far. By what I know now, we'd be in the same position, and they were offered like 40,000 more than I make. You see what I'm saying? To try and retain this person. But it just so happened that what they were offered on the external side was over 6 figures. So they were offered like $120,000 a year to basically leave. So yeah, the company just couldn't afford it. But that tells you the cap that they have available to pay the team overall could exceed. So they could make us, the team overall, they could even out the pay between us. But why would you do that as a company? Because now you're either pocketing that money, or taking that difference and now putting it into like another person, a new person, and paying them less money. This is how scummy business gets, by the way. This is how they do it. Can I train somebody that cost less than you to do what you do. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a mess all over the board. It has nothing. And we have people that live here. Obviously, I don't expect to make the same amount of money as someone that lives in LA. If you know about that here, the cost of living in like LA and New York is like the highest in the United States. So obviously they have to make more money. But the person I was talking about that they offered like 40 more thousand lives in the same place I do. But that's what I'm saying. So that cap that they went to offer that person, that person left, they could have moved that money around, you know what I mean, and just paid all of us $3,000 more a year. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The rest of the team, but they don't do that. It's a mess, man. It's a whole mess.
It's for sure a mess. Hey, shout out to you for breaking it down.
Yep.
And after that, we're gonna end it on this note. Shout out to everyone that stayed. Shout out to Persona and Buddy for having a show, what's called a mini not tournament. It's one much like a grudge match. And
gotcha.
Yes, it's shout out to them for always celebrating gaming. Like, I always love that. Like, even when I don't care about their Call of Duty stuff, they always so passionate about it. You just listen and you get entertained. So yeah. Anyone have any plans they wanna talk about? Well, we have. I'm pretty sure, Kay. Are you gonna play or no? I don't think Kay will play.
I'm sorry, play what?
We're gonna play with Morgan and ep8 Borderlands 3. You jump in?
I want to.
But you can't, right?
Not right now.
Yeah, I thought so. So what do you wanna do, ep8? Do you wanna start 2 different playthroughs? One with Morgan and Kay and one without Kay? Or do you wanna wait?
You guys just play when you want to play, and then if and when I can jump in, I'll just jump in.
Okay, we do that then.
Give me a bit though, because I gotta run around the corner. I gotta go. I gotta run around the corner, but yeah, we can get ready here in a minute.
When he says a bit,
I heard you saying.
At least an hour and a half.
I literally heard you saying.
Yes, he does.
You need to get around the corner to get weed.
Oh my god!
I literally heard you saying that. I'm not joking.
Nah, man. I've actually never been under the influence. So
same.
But I know
what you mean. I don't like that.
Some Bojangles.
I freaking wish.
With that being said, I'm gonna end it right here. And but before we go, so the playthrough is on. We're gonna play after this, right? ep8 is gone. Morgan, huh? Something happened.
Huh? What?
We're gonna play after this, right?
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
It don't matter to me.
Okay. So we're gonna start a playthrough. I'm gonna actually stream it.
Morgan doesn't give a shit.
On YouTube. And for this one, I'm gonna end it right. 3, 2,